Hello, divas and divos. Welcome back to a brand new episode of Diva Dailies. Yes, this is really happening. This is not a glitch in the Diva database. You are listening to a brand new episode being recorded in 2021. Welcome to Diva Dailies. This is a podcast where we deconstruct divas on film, TV, and in music. I'm your host, Steffi, in case you forgot, because I know it's been a while. You can follow me on social media. I'm at INN_MHO on Twitter and Instagram. And I also have a YouTube channel, in my humble opinion. But in case you didn't want to follow me, you just wanted to follow the podcast, we're at Diva Dailies Pod on Instagram and Twitter. And then if you want to email us, divadailiespod@gmail.com. Do not call the number that we were giving out last year because that no longer exists. And I don't know who you will be talking to if you call that number. So if you want to share your thoughts via voice, just email or DM me. And if I like it, maybe I'll include it. And if I don't, sorry. And what's another thing? I know it's been a while. I have to go down my list here. Oh, don't forget to rate and review the podcast. That is very important. Don't forget to rate and review us and make sure you're subscribed. Wow. I bet you guys are wondering right now, what is happening? Why are you back? Where have you been? But before we get into all of those pressing questions, the answers aren't really that dramatic, by the way. I have to bring on my guest co-host for this week. If you listened back to any of season one, you will be familiar with her because she appeared on a good chunk of those episodes and she is a fan favorite. I will confirm she is a fan favorite because whenever I would promote the podcast on Instagram, if I said, oh, this person's going to be on, people would be like, yeah. And if I didn't mention she was going to be on, I could sense the disappointment through the DMs. So I think I hear Jamaican horns in the distance, which can only be one thing. It's Angie.
Hey guys.
Yes,
Hey.
Angie is here. Oh my goodness.
That intro was nice. I will have to admit the intro was really, really kind.
No, it's true. Like literally, if I would post like, you don't have an Instagram, do you?
No, I don't.
Angie's like, do I expose myself?
Do
or
I?
Wow. Okay. So she's a rarity, but she does have a Twitter. What's your Twitter?
At Poetry Soul 3
Okay.
on Twitter.
So make sure you follow her because I'm sure a lot of people are going to be like, oh, I like her. I got to follow her. But what I was going to say was whenever I promote the podcast on Instagram, I do like a whole stories thing. And sometimes I'll put like featuring guest co-host and then I'll put the name. Well, I have to put your name. I can't tag you because there's nothing to tag. And people will be like, oh my gosh, yes, I'm so excited. And then sometimes I'll get, oh, where's Angie? And I'm like, what do you mean, where's Angie? I'm here.
You're like, I'm the show. I created this.
Yeah, this is I am the main event with the diva. But no, everybody loves you, Angie. So she's here.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys.
Yes. Well, how's everything going? How's it been? People, it's been over a year since the people have last heard from you. So how are you?
It feels like time has flown by.
You're like, really? I feel like it was just yesterday when we recorded. What was your last episode? It was
maybe the namesake. Was it the namesake?
Yes.
Yes. It has been a hot minute, but I feel like it hasn't been because we talk all the time on Twitter.
Yes.
So
and then there's also that element too that I've heard that as you get older, time just goes by so quickly.
It does. And it's I feel like I want to go back to my early teens when life used to feel so long, days used to feel so long. Yeah. But now you blink and it's the next month or we're at the end of the year already. Like,
yeah, it's like now you blink and we're still in another year of the pandemic.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Don't remind me. Do not remind me.
It brought the mood down.
It's just reality. It's facts.
Yeah, it's facts. Also, for the people who maybe are watching this on YouTube, I'm just going to acknowledge it in case, I don't know, I might use this, I might not. This is going to probably be a fuller version of what you will hear on your, I don't know, what is this? On your podcast streaming service of choice. I'm like, what are we doing? Yeah, on your podcast streaming service of choice, there will probably be very minimal editing. And if I do include any songs, you won't hear them because we're not playing that game with YouTube. So yeah, this is like kind of like a little bonus feature. Yeah, but I think this will be fun because they can actually see our faces.
Right.
If you follow Angie, you'll
I am anonymous on my page.
Yeah, you can actually see her face, and I'm sure we will be very expressive with our reactions. This is going to be fun because now I could like see, oh, is Angie, how does she feel about this stuff?
Am I faking a
Yeah.
laugh?
Yeah. Is Angie really listening? But no, she is. Okay. Well, I mean, I guess before we begin, I kind of hinted at this in the beginning. If people are so nosy and they really want to know why has it taken it so long for us to come back, it's because I got tired and I needed a break. That's it. That's the only reason. That's the only reason at Poetry Soul 3. That's the only reason why I haven't been recording is because I just got really tired. I have a lot of respect for people who do podcasts on a weekly basis and they just independently create. It is hard, but we're back and we're good. I don't know if we'll see if how long we continue into 2021. I wouldn't call this an official season 2 relaunch. It's more of a we're not dead, we're here. So yeah.
Did you like your time off?
I really did. I enjoyed my time off. I believe in eras. I grew up in era, not let's release a new album every couple weeks. So I believe in breaks, and that's what this podcast is doing. But
yeah, and you were running yourself ragged.
Yeah.
Sis was like always. Every time I talk to her, I gotta get something else done. I'm working on a YouTube video. I'm working on this. You were doing the damn thing.
Yeah, during the height of the pandemic.
Yes. It seemed like at one point you were doing 1 to 2 podcasts like every couple days.
Yeah, because I think I was getting into this routine of like I need to mass record so then I can like give myself time to edit.
Yeah.
But I think what people forget, especially at least with this podcast, is there's a lot of research that goes into every single one. Yeah. And I feel like I'm studying for a major final every time I'm about to record. So I'll be like, oh my God, I don't know this person that well. And I'll just be like really stressed. Like I remember when I was recording the Mariah Carey, that was one of the earlier ones, but when we were recording the Mariah Carey glitter episode, Lisa and I were so scared because the lambs are very intense.
They are.
And I remember, this was very dramatic circumstances. The next day, I remember going to Lisa's place and I told Lisa, I barely slept because I feel like I was studying for a Mariah Carey final because in order to understand the glitter era, you have to understand what came before. And I was like, oh my God. And Angie, you'll like this. That day that we recorded the glitter episode was the same day Robin Crawford's book came out. So that's all I had in the back of my mind. So if I kind of sound a bit distracted in that one, it's because I was like, I got to get to Barnes and Noble and I got to read that book.
But that glitter episode came out great. I will say.
Oh,
yeah, but that's how I felt with the Prince episode.
Oh my God, I barely slept the night before.
And on top of that, I knew coming in I was going to bash Purple Rain. So I was extra nervous. I was like, there's nothing good to say really about this movie. It was such bad acting. But so I was nervous about the Prince fans coming after me. I was nervous about I felt like I hadn't studied Prince like that.
Yeah.
So I feel you. I totally feel you.
Right. Yeah, because that's such an iconic era of Prince too.
Yes.
I think I'm mostly scared of stans. That's what really lights the fear within me of I don't want to get anything wrong. And we have the potential to get a lot of people wrong because we're going to be covering a lot of different divas today.
So many. Yes.
So this episode is going to be a bit different from other ones because this is like a Diva News recap episode. We haven't done an episode like this before. And I was thinking it actually makes sense that we haven't done an episode like this because when we started this podcast, it was 2020. the pandemic year, the height of the pandemic year, and obviously nothing was happening. So
that's true.
Now we're back, and there's a lot of things that are happening in the Diva cinematic universe, the superior DCU. Screw the MCU and the DCU. It's the Diva cinematic universe. That's I'm officially coining that phrase. Thank you.
Do it.
Yeah,
I support it.
Yeah. But we're going to be talking about a bunch of different divas and just going through the headlines. And yeah, if you guys like this episode, let us know, and we will try and work these kinds of episodes into the podcast every now and then, because there's always something happening with our favorite divas. And I have to say too, if we don't get to your favorite diva, that wasn't intentional. We just have so many divas that are doing so many things, and these are the ones that took priority. So I guess before we really get into our topics, we have to go into Oscar and Razzie moment of the week. This is the part of the podcast where we talk about our personal high point and low point moments of the week. But since we haven't recorded in quite a bit, it doesn't have to be limited to just the week. It could really be anything good or bad that has happened since we last talked. So Angie, guess first. What's your Oscar and Razzie moment of the week?
Okay, Oscar moment.
Oh,
for the break is me starting my YouTube channel.
Oh yes, yeah.
I mean, I haven't posted a ton, but I like what I've posted thus far. But yeah, it's been a very healing kind of experience for me, because I've been stressed out and I needed another outlet. So
yeah.
I was like, let me just do what I actually love, and I like to nerd out on things. And I'm always the person wanting to talk about top tens. Like, what's your top 10, this or that? And so that's what I did. Top tens, dissections.
And what's the name of your YouTube channel, Angie?
Sleepy
so the people
Nerd Productions. Sleepy Nerd Productions.
Got it. Yeah, you guys have to subscribe. Angie makes such quality video essays. When she sent me first Angie sent me her little intro thing, and the words go boom and there's a sound effect that goes boom, and then there's aren't there flames at one point? I remember being oh my god, that's so good. My intro is just text beep, that's it. Angie comes in, it's text, sound effects, flames, boom, 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 boom. And she's like, so what'd you think about this?
I was really I'm very insecure about my work. As an artist, I'm very, very, very insecure. So, I was just trying to get your input. You were hyping me up though. I was like, maybe I need to send it to somebody else. I don't know. She was hyping me up a lot.
I am truly the best hype person. If you're ever feeling down, I will hype you up, but you deserve that recognition. See, this is me again.
Thanks.
Come on, Angie, you could do it. You could do it. But yeah, Angie makes such great video essays. What are some of the video essays that you did so far?
So a lot of them are just top tens. My most popular stuff right now is the Chloe and Halle top 10 virtual performances. The Zendaya in Euphoria top 10.
Oh, that was
best performances. Thank you.
That was a really good one. Yeah.
And then the video essay, which took me 18,000 years to create, is the video essay around Chloe and Halle, the Kids Are All Right era.
Yeah, that's a really good one too. I commented and was like, send this to Parkwood Entertainment and they could use this as their professional reel. It's that. It's that good. Angie did that. So
thanks.
Yeah. There you go.
But yeah, that is definitely my Oscar moment. Is starting that, getting that going. And then the Razzie moment is, it happened last night actually.
She was like, when you DM'd me, I was like, God, it's happening.
Again. No. No, I was actually I had to go fill up my tank. And I get to the gas station.
Oh God.
And I have a small truck kind of. It's like a crossover SUV.
Uh-huh.
And so it usually takes $60 to fill up the tank.
Oh, the gas is expensive.
Listen, I put $60 and I looked up at the marquee and I saw that it was $4.50. I said, wait, hold up. When did gas get this expensive? The last time I filled up my tank, it felt like it was at $4.35, $4.40.
Right.
That was a
Yeah.
couple weeks ago.
Oh my God.
I'm shook. I'm like, I got to get a moped, a Segway, something, because this is too expensive. It's way too expensive.
Angie's like, I guess I'll be walking.
Get my bike out.
Yeah.
I got a mountain bike. Let's go.
Oh man, at Newsom, who do we speak to about this?
For real, because especially in California, it's really, really hard to
Period.
get around. Period. Yeah. He said, and done.
Yeah.
In sentence. No, but it's really hard to get around California without a car. And
yeah.
Our metro system is trash. Like, it's just, man, gases need to go down. Gas prices.
Yeah, that's definitely, driving is, especially in Southern California, driving, you cannot, if you want to get out, you have to drive.
Yeah, exactly.
Or else you're just going to be walking distance to the whatever stuff is nearby. Yeah, I know it's a bit, I know for some people, like in New York, it's a bit different. Like I know people who are much older and they're like, I don't even have my driver's license yet. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
But.
And the shocking thing for me is I'm a new driver.
Oh, really?
Listen, I only
late bloomer.
Yes. I got my driver's license at 29. And in California, yes, in California, that is like hella long. Usually
I would be like, did you just move here from a
But I knew like once I got a driver's license, my mom was gonna buy me a car.
Yeah.
I didn't have money to spend for insurance, all of that to upkeep a car. I'd rather save my money to go travel. So that's what I did. I took the bus to work every day, saved my money, went traveling. And then at 29, I was like, okay, it's time. It's time.
It's time. Wow. Angie, I'm like, wait, did you grow up here in California though? Or did you grow up?
No, I grew up here.
Wow. Did that ever bother you though, that you like had waited so long?
It didn't bother me. It bothered like my friends.
I was gonna say, were your friends being like, how do you like not know how to drive yet?
And the crazy part is I knew how to drive. I just didn't have my license.
Oh, okay.
My friends mainly were like, because I don't drink, they were just like, can you please get your license so you could be the DD, designated driver?
Yeah.
So they were just more upset about that. Or if I was willing to take the bus at night, they were just like, Angie, please get in the car. Like, you don't have to take the bus. I'm like, I'm fine. I'll take the train or whatever, you know. I'm good. I'll get home.
Yeah.
So it was like more upsetting for my friends than it was actually for me.
Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, that was a similar thing for me. I mean, I think maybe 10 years younger than you when I got my license. But my friends were giving me shit too, because I didn't have my license yet by the time I graduated high school. And my friends were like, oh my God, that's like kind of embarrassing. Aren't you like a little bit embarrassed? And I remember like first day of school, this is so embarrassing. First day of school, I told my dad, like, just park, like, can you like park a little bit? Like, don't drop me off in front of the school. Like, just keep going, okay? And he'd be like, God, Dad, please, not this close. Just keep going. And then I'd like look both ways before I got out, and before I like got in. Like it was a lot. And then I remember like I like missed the most that you could get before you failed your driving test.
Ooh.
for the written and for the actual driving, because I was like in such a rush. I was like, just give me your guys' test and I'm gonna like study the I don't even think I actually read the California driving manual. I like literally was studying my friends' answers, because they were like, yeah, like they just repeat the questions. Sometimes you'll get some of the same questions that I got. I was like, oh, perfect, okay. So that's what I was doing. And then yeah, it was I was so rushed. And I remember my driving teacher, like I was supposed to have, I think, 1 or 2 more lessons with him, but I was like, I can't wait anymore. I'm just gonna go. So then so when I was literally like, you know, when you're like in line at the DMV in your car, my driving teacher was 2 cars ahead of me, and he like turned and he saw me and I was like,
oh my God.
Him knowing that I like had 2 more lessons with him, but I was like, I gotta go. I do not want to be made fun of by my friends anymore. I can't keep telling my dad to park like down the street. Like, this is a lot. So I have to commend you, Angie, for just holding out on a
I mean,
driver's license.
Like you said, in Southern California, it's a lot to not have a car.
Yeah.
To not have a car or a license by 18 is huge out here.
Yeah.
It is really, really big. So, I mean, I just didn't care about what people said too, because I truly did not care. I was working at a school.
Yeah.
And I would be on the bus with the students.
Oh my God.
And we'd be taking the bus to school together.
Would the kids be like, oh, Angie, you're so cool taking the bus with us? Or would some of them be like, why is she like on the bus with us?
I mean, it was mixed opinions about it, but I was just like, I get to go to, out of the country for 4 months at the end of the year. So say what you want. I'm sitting here traveling, like, it is what it is.
Pros and cons.
Right.
But now, I mean, Angie has a car and she can drive, and the gas prices are really expensive. So
yeah, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. Oh well. Okay, well, I guess I'll get into my Oscar and Razzie moment of infinite time. I'm looking at my Google Doc and there's nothing there. Because I know what I was gonna say, but usually when I get to this part, I'm like essentially reading it. And yeah, first episode back, nothing there, nothing for me to read. So we're really just gonna fingers crossed, hope for the best. I'm not including that part in the audio version of the podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, you'll be like, oh God, this is really a janky production behind the scenes. Okay. Okay, so let's should we start? Okay, let's start with the Razzie moment of the week. This actually pertains to divas. My Razzie moment of whatever is I am at an interesting place in my Whitney fandom journey. And this kind of happened. I started to feel this happening over the beginning of the summer. And I feel like I feel like I fucking hate Whitney. Just kidding.
I was about to say, like, oh my God.
I'm like, see that poster back there? She's about to get trashed. She's going at the no. Okay. Everybody knows Whitney is one of my favorite. She is my favorite diva, and she's one of my favorite artists. Her and Michael are like cemented, always in my heart, number one. But because, Whitney is no longer with us, and the estate is not giving us anything to really celebrate or be happy about, I started to feel at the beginning of the summer my Whitney love kind of, I'm not going to say like diminished because that's not the right word, but I felt a bit discouraged and demoralized as a fan because I feel like every time Whitney is in the headlines, which we will be talking about in this episode, but every time there's like new Whitney related news, I'm like not happy about it. And it's not because like, oh, I wasn't happy with that song or I wasn't happy with that album. It's like, oh, she's like continually being disrespected. And it is very hard to take and watch as a fan. And even though like the work that she did while she was here makes me super happy to like kind of just continually watch the desecration of Whitney Houston like occur what feels like on a weekly basis, it just makes me feel really demoralized and sad and discouraged as a fan. And that's kind of what started to happen over the summer. Obviously, I still love Whitney, but I feel like I'm not engaging with her as much as maybe I used to because it just makes me so sad because I'm like, God, she's no longer, not only is she not here, but what they're doing to her legacy, it just makes me really upset. So that's my Razzie moment of infinite time. What are your thoughts on that, Angie? Do you feel the same way? Because you're a Whitney fan too.
Yes. I'm kind of in a different boat because people think I'm a stan. I'm not a stan. Just a really big fan.
Okay.
So
I'm like, and
and we're done. Cut. Yeah. But a lot of the things that the estate is doing, I just pay it no mind because I low-key don't want to support it anyways.
Right.
Because of, Pat Houston and the shenanigans.
Rat Risha.
Right. So I haven't. Yeah, I just pay everything that the estate has been doing the past few years. No mind, unless they're going to start re-releasing tours. Please
That's
do.
oh my God. We've literally been asking for that since like Whitney died.
That's all we want. That's all we really want, honestly. And then re-release everything on vinyl, please.
Oh,
Thank you.
they've only ever re-released the first album because it had like an
Yeah.
anniversary. I
And
think
then the Bodyguard
but it
vinyl
wasn't,
album.
yeah, but it was like it was one of those like weird like to I forget what the name of the actual, remember when they like re-released the Bodyguard, but then like it came with like some live performances.
Yeah.
But it was called like The Bodyguard, I Wish You
Yeah.
Love or something like that. I don't know.
Yes, yes.
Awful freaking title, by the way. Like I understand why you named it that, but it's like no one can remember. What the hell? Whoa, I just have so many complaints.
Yeah, I feel like the Whitney estate has been shit ever since she passed away. I mean, before she passed away, but even more so afterwards. So it's
Yeah.
hard for me to pay it any kind of mind at all. But I understand as a stan how that could be annoying, for
Yeah,
sure.
it is.
Yes.
It's frustrating. And it's just like also this like thing too of like following someone who is no longer here is a very different experience
Yeah.
of following someone who's still like at least here on earth and has the potential to always like release new
Right.
stuff or do new things. It's like
Yeah.
every time I get to like the I Look to You era, I don't really engage too much in that
Ooh,
period of time because I'm like, oh man, this is just like really rough, especially towards the
right.
end. And then when I finish the I Look to You era, it's like, well, that's it. There's
That's
nothing
it.
else.
Yeah.
Back to the beginning, 19
Right.
like literally, you guys think I'm joking. Like that's literally what usually happens. So I've had to kind of take a step back because I feel like next year with that movie coming out, it's gonna be
Oh yeah. We're gonna
times.
talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
man,
gonna be interesting.
it is gonna be interesting. But since my diva, I don't know, diva calendar is kind of cleared, it has given me space to get into some newer artists that I never thought I would really enjoy. And we'll get into that in a little bit
Okay.
in the episode, but I feel like Whitney gave me her blessing because there's some like weird when I was like watching so many interviews or watching like learning random things about this particular group and this particular solo artist. I was like, oh, they would literally mention Whitney. And I was like, oh, Whitney is here. And she's
Oh.
like, girl, take a break. Go with these ladies, giving
It's
you my sign of approval.
a lot of these new artists or newer ish artists, a lot of them lead back to either Janet, Michael, or Whitney. They
They
will
really do.
name anyone in Prince, and they'll name any one of those. So it's like it's easy to get a blessing from the
But
legends.
you know what's really funny is none of these artists are quote unquote new. They were like older, but I went back.
They're new for you.
They're new for me.
Yes.
One of them in
That's what I mean.
particular, I would have never thought it would happen. And not because I was like anti them, but I'm like, wow, as it was happening, I was like, oh shit, I feel like I like them. God damn it. We'll get into
Here it
it.
goes.
Here it goes. Okay, so now we're really going to get into our news topics. Maybe one day we'll figure out a name for this segment, but for right now, I'm going to be like Wendy Williams. How you doing? Hot topics. No, we're not calling it hot topics. We'll call it something else one day, but these are our news topics. So we have to get into the big diva news. The first being is Britney Jean Spears is a free woman. She is
Thank
free
goodness.
from her conservatorship. We're not gonna be like going down the nitty gritty details of like on this day this happened because there's so many podcasts and YouTube videos and documentaries about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the time of recording this on November 12th, 2021, which was this past Friday, after 13 years of being in a conservatorship under her father, Jamie Spears, Britney is finally free. So Angie, what are your thoughts? Did you watch any of the Britney documentaries or engage with any of that?
I watched the Hulu one from the New York Times.
Yeah. That's the one I watched too.
And that's I didn't know it was on Hulu, but I saw it trending one day. And I said, you
Oh,
know what? Let me just see what's good. And because they were dragging Justin Timberlake.
you were like,
So I
I am
said,
always there for
yes,
that.
I am in. Let's do it. um, but yeah, no, I sat and watched it, and like I knew about it, but I didn't know about it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is janky. Like, free my good sis. Like, like, but I'm really, really happy that she is free.
Yeah.
Um, but it almost reminded me of that movie. What's that movie called on Netflix? Oh my gosh. Is it Can I Help You?
Oh, the one with oh my God, what's
Oh,
her name
dude from Game of
from?
Thrones.
Yeah, I know what you're. Oh, I care a lot.
I care a lot. Listen, it reminded me of that. And to see this white pop star in
Yeah.
this kind of situation, it's just like how many people are in that kind of situation but
Yeah.
don't have the press on their back, or behind them to help them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like I said, I'm really, really happy for Britney Spears, but it also made me sad too, thinking about how many other people like this is in a situation where they can't get out of it.
Right.
You know?
Mm-hmm. No, that's a really good point. And to think too, like with Britney, because like she is like Britney Spears. Like this is
Yeah,
Britney Spears. Maybe the younger kids who weren't around in the 2000s don't realize like how big Britney was, but like
yeah.
she was the I will would you agree to say that she was the main pop girl during that time?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
One
like
million percent.
if
This
you
is
weren't
before
there,
Katy Perry and all of that
oh,
stuff too. Yeah,
much before them. To see someone like her be in this situation, you're just like, oh my God, how can this happen to Britney? And then you're like, well, damn, if it could happen to Britney.
that part, like, it's just, ah, yeah. That- I hope she's just super, super happy
Mm-hmm.
and like she's enjoying her free time right now
Yeah,
to do
yeah,
nothing if she
agreed.
wants, you know?
I have to say too, I remember when I watched that Hulu documentary too, because my friends were like, you have to watch it, you have to watch it. And then when we were talking about it, I was most not most, but I was really intrigued by like the way the fans were involved with
Oh
this
yeah.
whole thing. Like they're really the ones that started this hashtag free
Yeah.
Britney movement. And I remember I was talking with my friends, and my friends were like, I don't know about that fan part. Like that seems like they're looking into it too much. Da 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 da. Da. But now, like, clear, like, I mean, Britney was literally wearing a free Britney shirt
Yeah.
on, like, I think the night before, the day of, she was finally free from her conservatorship. So I have to, as obviously, like, give it up to her legal team, but also to the fans,
Yeah.
because Britney fans, well, fans of any kind, but especially the Britney fans, they are very loyal and passionate, and
Yeah.
they saw when their pop star was in trouble. So I think that's kind
Right.
of amazing that they were able to come together and like help her out in that way.
Yeah. I mean, seeing that part on the documentary, um, it left me in awe, but it felt very familiar because we've seen Janet Stans do the same thing.
Yeah.
Michael Stans, when Leaving Neverland came out,
Yeah.
when Leaving Neverland came out, the receipts that the fans were bringing out, it was just insane. Like, did the journalists even do any work? Like, it was that kind of thing, you know?
Uh-huh.
Um, so, you know, it's cool to see Stans be sane at times and work for
Yeah.
a good cause
Mm-hmm.
instead of being notorious for crazy-ish, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the really cool part.
Yeah. Because
Was this?
sometimes with stands, it's very easy. It's a very fine line that you're walking of like, you
Yeah,
sound crazy,
right.
you're looking into things too much, or wait,
Yes,
actually you do have valid points.
exactly. Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
I'm happy that she's free.
What
Absolutely.
what would you like to see Britney do next?
Listen, if she wants to just sit and watch Hulu for the rest of her days, God bless. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
Yeah.
want her to do whatever the fuck she wants. I want her to be as free as she want.
Mm-hmm.
If she wants to spend the next 5 years airing out her family, bless, do that. If she wants to release a new album, do that. If she wants to tour, do that. I want her to be happy.
Yes.
That's what I want for her.
I agree. I think that's another lesson that we can take too from the whole Britney debacle is as fans, as people who consume these artists' work, not to think that they owe us anything and not to think that we like own them, period. Just letting them be free to do whatever they want, and we should just be happy with that. So I'm in the same boat with you too, Angie. If Britney never wants, I mean, Britney has so many albums and has left us with a great body of work. So we can always engage with that. And she's just, now living her best life, dancing on Instagram, painting.
Just want her to be happy.
The other day, she like posted a video of herself dancing to Whitney's "I'm Your Baby Tonight," and I was like, oh my gosh, look at her. She really loves this tune.
Right.
Maybe she's an "I'm Your Baby Tonight" era stan. Oh man. But yeah, thankfully Britney is free. But now I guess we can move on to our next topic. So this is a topic that Angie really wants to talk about. Do you want to introduce it? Because I really know nothing about it aside from the Twitter link that you sent me.
You were probably shocked when you saw it too.
I was like, what is happening?
So we want to talk about Chloe. There's no big introduction. We're going to talk about Chloe. From Chloe and Halle. As you guys probably know, she is trending pretty much every week. Anytime she drops something, a video, this girl is trending. And let me preface this by saying, I'm a Chloe and Halle stan.
Oh, here she goes.
I am a stan. Now listen. I've only stan 4 people in my life.
Okay.
Aaliyah, TLC, Janet Jackson, Audra McDonald.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I know, right? That came out of nowhere.
I was like, curveball.
Audra McDonald is that girl. But Chloe and Halle has been added to that list.
Wow.
But I know, we got to give it up to them. But the big thing is Chloe keeps trending because of her sexuality or the way that she's presenting her sexuality.
Okay.
So people have been pretty much dragging her because they feel that she is trying too hard to be sexy.
Okay.
And that link that I sent you, the reference is Chloe posted a video. I guess she was thanking fans. She had like the sexy jazz music on in the back.
Yeah.
In her lingerie.
Yeah.
Licking a lollipop, like, thank you fans for everything. Lick.
Yeah.
I want to help. I want to thank you guys for everything that you guys done, stuff like that.
Right.
So people said it was cringe. And I honestly thought she was trolling at first.
Oh, okay.
Because she was getting dragged so much about being too much, too extra, too sexy. I legitimately thought, was like, oh, she's trolling everybody. This is great.
Yeah.
Until she took it down. And then I said, oh, wait, was she for real about it?
Uh-huh.
But the conversation or the question I have is, is there a point where sexuality is too much for an artist? Like, should there be a stopping point? Mm. And how do we know whether it's cringe or not?
Mm-hmm. I guess like for me, I would say maybe that depends on the artist. Mm-hmm. And that depends on how successfully the artist can pull off being quote unquote sexy. Yeah. Yeah. Because how old is she now?
She's 23, I believe.
I think that's also kind of like a difficult thing too, is when we were first introduced, like the general public was first introduced to her, like she was, young.
Yeah.
I don't know if she was under 18, right?
Yeah, the first movie that she did was Fighting Temptations with Beyoncé. She was like 4.
And then when she came out with her sister and as like an actual artist under Parkwood, was she like, okay. Oh, okay. So but yeah, I think it's just hard in general, probably for like when you first get exposed to an artist and they're young, to then suddenly see them start being a little bit more sexual. You're like, whoa, what the? But actually, they are of age, and that should be fine. But do you think she was do you think she was being serious with that video, or like do you think she was trolling?
In my mind, I want to say that she's trolling. If she was serious, I felt like, how do I say that? Okay, I felt like it was cringe, but I wasn't judging her for it because I think Chloe's in this space where she's trying to figure out her sexuality and how to present it.
Right.
Now, if I go back to my early 20s and if there was video of me trying to be sexy, and I look back at that, I know I probably would have looked cringe on several different occasions, you know?
Yeah.
But Chloe's doing it in front of everybody. So I'm trying to give her grace. I'm giving her grace because she's trying to figure it out in public. There's times where it's going to be cringe and there's times that it's not. I felt like it was a lot, but the jokes coming from it was really hilarious. Like they were just saying that it looked like the pop-up videos where you're on 1, 2, 3 movies. It looked like that.
You like try to exit out right away. You're like, oh no.
That was the Chloe video. That was definitely the Chloe.
Oh my gosh. Well, maybe she's a fan of like 1, 2, 3 movies.
She's like, it was inspired. I had true inspiration behind this.
Yeah, I want to pay homage to the pop-ups.
But also too, they've been really hard on her doing pop music too. So then the question is, because she has said in several interviews that she's experimenting. And there's a huge conversation around Black artists, specifically Black female artists, who don't get the space to experiment. There's only a couple that I could think of off the top of my head, Janet being one of them. Beyonce, but that was after, like B-Day, where she was able to experiment. Rihanna, same thing. But the lack of ability to experiment and have space to experiment has been on the forefront of my mind, especially when it comes to Chloe, because I feel like we're low-key hard on her. We're not low-key, we're hard on her. For sure.
I feel like I see a lot of, not like, I don't want to say like jokes, that's not like the right term, but I do feel like sometimes people like to kind of make her the butt of a lot of jokes. In whatever context that may be, if it's like her trying to experiment with her sexuality or maybe trying to experiment with her sound in any way. Do you think part of the reason why she gets like so much shit is maybe because of the Beyonce association?
Yes, because she does sound like her mentor.
They really do.
Beyonce's daughter for sure. And because she's Beyonce's daughter, she will get compared to Beyonce, but people forget Beyonce was extra too in her early years. Her early solo years, she was a lot of times over singing. Them runs were going on for forever, running marathons. Like, she was doing a lot too. But like I said, I think it goes back. Well, I lied. Part of it has to do with Beyonce. Part of it has to do with she is not a new artist. So I think there is like credible feedback that's happening too. Because we've seen amazing work from her. This would be her 5th project.
Wow.
Yeah, so she has 3 projects before Ungodly Hour, then Ungodly Hour, now her solo project. And we've seen the incredible work that she's done. So we know what her potential is, and sometimes it feels like she's not meeting it. But again, that goes back to she's experimenting. So what kind of grace are we giving her? And what kind of space are we giving her to actually experiment? And what does that look like for us as fans and just bystanders,
Right. And I think it's so hard too for like these younger artists now who are like coming up in this like social media environment, because now like every single thing that they do, like they can get the immediate feedback and opinions of all these different people, whereas maybe like back in the day, like even like Beyonce's days when she was in her early 20s. Like, yeah, I'm sure people were like criticizing her, but there wasn't a way where she could like get that immediate feedback all at once, and like she can see it and everyone else can see what everyone is saying. It's just it's just a hard time to be a younger artist and to find your way in the public.
And the image, your image was way more curated. Like you had to go through several people to put out, official photos or videos or anything.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Chloe can just do an Instagram video, post it, boom. It's either a hit or miss. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's definitely harder for the newer kids coming in.
Well, I guess we shall see what other new stuff she will be sharing, be it on the music front or the 1, 2, 3 movies genre. So
oh my gosh.
And on that note, let's transition to our next diva. Okay, so let's see how long we're gonna spend on this. I'm not quite sure. Oh, I'm already introducing it like in such a shady way. I don't mean to be shady. I get so nervous with if ever she comes up in the conversation because her fans in particular are very like, ah! So okay, so we're now going to be moving on to the next topic, and that is Miss Taylor Swift. So at the time of recording this, Taylor Swift over the weekend, on November 13th, 2021, this past Saturday, she re-released Red (parentheses Taylor's version), which originally came out on October 22nd, 2012. So it's been almost 10 years. And the reason why this is because she doesn't own any of her masters that were released prior to 2019. This includes albums like Taylor, Fearless, Speak Now, Red, 1989, and Reputation. And, she was originally signed with Big Machine Records. And obviously when you're a new and up and coming artist, you don't get the best contracts. And I guess, at least according to the article that I read, Scooter Braun, he owns this company called Ithaca Holdings, and they acquired Big Machine Records. And in that acquisition came Taylor Swift's masters. And he bought that for a reported $300 million. So in order to gain back a sense of artistic control, Taylor has decided to re-record all of those albums that were in that acquisition under this Taylor's version title. And now we're here. She already re-released Fearless, I believe. And now we're on the Red stage of this gaining my sense of power and control back. And over the weekend, she also released a short film for the song All Too Well, which was written and directed by her. So that's where we're at right now in the Taylor saga. Angie, what's your relationship to Taylor Swift as an artist?
Okay. There really isn't.
Look at that pause. Taylor fans are sensing blood. They're out for blood.
No shade. Taylor Swift is not my artist.
Right. Yeah, that's fine. And that's okay, people who may be watching and listening this. That doesn't make Angie a bad person. That's fine. We're allowed to have choices, and this is a choice that she is practicing.
She's not my artist. I respect what she does. She does it well.
Yeah.
She does her
all too well.
All too well. She's in her own lane. But I really don't have a relationship with her music. Aside from the stuff that came out like 2009-ish to 2010.
Oh, is that like Love Story? That's like Love Story era,
early,
right?
early stuff.
Yeah,
she was just coming out with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
She has a couple hits that I like, but aside of that, I really don't have a relationship to her music.
So I'm gonna assume you didn't listen to the original Red album when that came out?
Aside from a couple songs that I was forced to listen to by my students, no.
Oh, right. Because you're surrounded by the kids.
I'm surrounded by the kids. So, they were trying to put me on, but I was like, oh, this is cute.
Yeah.
And I kept it pushing.
Mm-hmm.
It just wasn't for me. But I do respect her re-recording everything. I'm always for that. Because in the music industry, especially for an artist, your biggest control is to have your masters. If you don't have your masters, you really don't have control. Not you don't really, you don't have control over your music, period.
Yeah.
They can do whatever they want, licensing, publishing, all of that extra stuff. That doesn't go to you unless you wrote songs, unless you produced your own songs, all of that stuff. That's where other rights come in. But yeah, you can't really do much with your catalog if you don't have the masters at all, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I agree with you. I'd have to give it up to Taylor for like, cause that's a pretty lengthy, laborious process to be like, okay, I'm going to re-record every single album. Then
Yeah.
it kind of, it actually, it sounds a bit, I don't want to say, I don't know if I want to continue with that statement. I'm scared. I'll retract that and I will pivot and say, I know this year Anita Baker just gained control of her masters, and Anita Baker is someone who has been in the industry for a very, very, very long time. She's much older than Taylor, from a completely different era. So, I mean, the fact that she only just gained back control of her masters,
right?
And we're looking at Taylor Swift, who is still a young, well, I don't know if I would say maybe she's like a young artist compared to other people on their musical journey, because she's been out for a while, but like in life, she's still a young woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Taylor.
Yeah, I mean, there's been quite a few people who've re-recorded their songs. TLC re-recorded a few of their songs. Their big hits like Ain't Too Proud to Beg and all that stuff. JoJo re-released
JoJo, yes.
her first album. Did Toni Braxton do that with Libra? I can't remember.
I'm not quite sure.
She should, because I don't really want to support old dude for Black Round. But yeah, a lot of artists end up having to re-record their stuff. It sucks. That sounds like it sucks. But if it's a chance for them to get their money, shoot, I say do it. And I support it 1,000,000%.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. How would you feel if Taylor was nominated for Grammys for her re-releases of these albums? Do you think that's fair?
I don't know about that. I'm going to be honest. Well, let me first say that I'm trying really hard to not support the Grammys any longer.
Oh, okay.
But hypothetically, no, I don't think so. I don't think she should be
eligible
again. Because we know, given the system of the Grammys, we know she would get a Grammy. Like, imagine Adele re-releasing 21. If like she was in that situation, and then 21 drops again, we know she's sweeping.
Yeah.
Like, what?
That's a good point, because then if this gets great, like if this is eligible for Grammy recognition, like what if this gets nominated for like album of the year? I don't know. Like that, I feel like you're kind of like opening like a Pandora's box of problems.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's a rule about that. I don't know.
And I think we'll see it affect certain kinds of artists in a good way versus other types of artists. Say Beyonce re-releases B-Day or something like that. We won't see it get the same effect as Taylor or a Bruno Mars, or you know what I'm saying? Like another artist, non-Black artist. They'll get treated differently, honestly. You know?
Yeah.
So I don't support that necessarily. But I haven't also looked into it deeply. This is just like off the dome feelings, you know?
Yeah. Let us know, Taylor. I feel like the Taylor stands probably know the rules about the Grammys and if this is going to be eligible or not. But yeah, that would be, I really don't, if I was the Grammy committee, I would personally say re-recordings of albums should not be eligible, because I'm just thinking of like, you're just like opening up a Pandora's box of problems. Like there's probably problems that like we right now, just thinking off the cuff, can't even like think or foresee. Because then I feel like record labels might try and like bend the rules. So like, oh, like, see, our artist on our label got nominated for a Grammy. It's like, well, that was a re-release of an album. Like, what if, I don't know, like, what if, this is kind of like a very over exaggerated situation, but what if like the Michael Jackson estate wanted to re-release Thriller? Like, that's not fair. And I'm a huge Michael stan.
About to say that.
That's not fair.
Yeah. No, I was literally thinking the same thing. I was about to say that was going to be my next point, because depending on the rules, they could probably just use other studio versions of the song and then say it's a re-release.
Yeah.
Hypothetically, right?
Yeah.
Again, we don't know the exact rules, but let's say there is, a loophole. And then Thriller drops again. It's like, what? Thriller is the album. What are you talking about? So I don't know. Yeah, it's a tricky situation.
And I was thinking too, like, if you have like these big artists, like major artists, like, like the Taylors or the Michaels, who like are in a position where if they could re-release an album and like everyone is going to be interested at the very least, like, and let's say they start their album re-releases start filling up all of these categories, it's kind of like you're not leaving room for the newer artists to like compete. Like, can you imagine if like you were a young artist who came out with a really great album, but then it just so happened that Taylor Swift re-released one of her major albums again, and then in this hypothetical world, that situation that we're creating, the Michael Jackson estate re-released Thriller. It's like, well, my little new album, as great as it is, cannot compete with an iconic album, iconic artist like this. So it just starts to crowd the space. And
unless they have a whole separate category for it.
Oh, that's a good
like
a good
best
option.
Re-release.
But then how many people would be able to re-release?
That's true. I mean, it seems like it's becoming way more common for artists to re-release their stuff.
Like when you say re-record. Okay. Well, would if in this situation, would you be including like a greatest hits compilation too in that like category?
Does that really count? Greatest hits? Well, I guess it depends on how many new songs are on the greatest hits. You know how like Janet's Design of the Decade had two or three tracks?
Yeah.
I guess if it's something like that, but even then, like to get an album award for 3 songs, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Greatest Release. Because then the Beatles will be in that mess.
See, all day, every year they will be nominated. Yeah, see, listeners, this is the problem that we run into if you consider a re-recording of an album for like just to be considered like a regular album. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. But I guess when Grammy nominations come out, we'll see because didn't Taylor Swift, she released 2 albums during like 2020, but then one of them didn't qualify for last year's Grammys. So she would technically have 3 albums in the running for album of the year if this, if re-releases were considered like regular albums.
That's a lot.
Man, if I was Olivia Rodrigo, I'd be quaking in my boots. Be quaking with my driver's license. Like, oh no. We'll see.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, well, speaking of new songs, Miss Beyoncé over the weekend released a new song for King Richard. The song is called Be Alive, and she has not only is she obviously the one singing on the track, but she also has producer credit, I believe, and also songwriting credit. So have you listened to Be Alive?
I listened to it 30 minutes before we jumped on this Skype.
That's right, Angie.
Yeah, no, I heard that the song had dropped. The bits and pieces of the song that I heard, it wasn't clicking with my spirit, so I was like waiting. But then I sat down and listened to it, and it's a cute little song.
I like the beginning when she's like, "Be alive." And then if you've like seen the video, like the tennis ball like becomes the dot of the eye. I'm like, ooh, visuals.
No, that part was good. Her runs at the end of the song, great. I mean, she gave a stellar vocal performance, but the song,
she sounds really great.
She sounds amazing. The song itself didn't hit my spirit, but maybe I need to listen to it again. It sounded like a filler track on an album.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it didn't have like the power of like a listen, you know, like
I felt like the song was a bit repetitive.
Yeah.
But I mean, she sounds great, Beehive.
Yeah.
I'm like, we're dodging so many stands in this episode.
No, I mean, it was a cool, it wasn't a bad song. Yeah. It wasn't a phenomenal song. It just felt like a filler. She again gave great vocals, but I feel like it could have been more, especially because maybe it was the hype around it. Everybody's been talking about the Oscars about it and stuff like that. Yeah. So I was like, oh, we about to get like something epic. Yeah. And I didn't feel like it made the epicness that I created in my head.
Mm-hmm. The tennis ball of the eye wasn't enough. Didn't do enough for you.
Not quite.
So do you think based off of just like the song, not considering like other songs that may be eligible, do you think Beyonce has a chance of being nominated for Best Original Song at the Oscars for Be Alive?
I think based on her name alone,
yeah,
she has a possibility.
Yeah.
And then
I would agree with
the
that
hype that King Richard is getting right now. I mean, they're talking about Will Smith might be nominated.
Yeah, I've heard that.
So just off the hype of her name and the movie itself, it definitely has a chance. But I don't think it's an Oscar song.
Winning song, yeah.
I don't think it's an Oscar nominated song.
Oh,
in my opinion.
Okay.
Sorry, Stans. But I just think that there's way better things in her catalog that I could have been like, oh yeah, this could be nominated for an Oscar. You know, it's just a cool song. It's good.
I feel like off of the strength of, you know, the fact that she is Beyonce, I think producers and maybe the voting committee of the Oscars will be like, we want Beyonce to be at the Oscars and to perform this song because we need the ratings. And then they will get Beyonce to perform at the Oscars. And then whether or not she wins, that's a completely different question. But if we get Beyonce nominated, she will show up to our awards ceremony and she will perform and we will get the views. That's, I feel like, the way this is going to pan out.
I completely 1,000,000% agree, especially because the Oscars, their viewership has decreased so much in the past couple years. So yes, anything to get viewership up, I would agree. And also, didn't Jay-Z create a song?
Oh,
they're talking that he might be nominated for an Oscar too. So it'd be the first time a couple gets nominated in the same category at the Oscars.
Oh.
I think there's that buzz too. I forget what movie it's from.
Okay, yeah, I haven't heard that, but maybe you're right. Yeah.
So there might be that buzz. Do I think I haven't heard the Jay-Z song, so I don't know if it's good or not. But you know, wait, I don't know what other songs would be nominated this year too.
Wait, didn't Billie Eilish release? Didn't she do a song for the James Bond movie?
I think she did.
But that came out this year, right?
Me checking. Hold on.
Our sense of time is a bit warped because of the pandemic. Because
I know, right?
I'm like, wait, was that this year or last year?
You said the Bond?
Yeah, I know. I don't know what the name of the James Bond movie is, but I know Billie Eilish for sure did a song for the James Bond movie.
And no, that came out. That came out in 2020.
What?
2020. Wait. Let's see. February of 2020. Oh wait, no.
Oh, it wouldn't.
It wouldn't. No.
Okay.
Because it would have been nominated for 2021.
Yeah.
Wow. Us trying to figure out the time frame. Like,
yeah. Whatever. Okay. If you know the answer, just let us know.
Because Oscars were like in March this year, right?
Yeah. See, that's the thing.
Yeah. So if it was if it was released in February of 2020, that was after the Oscars of 2019 going into 2020.
But the Bond movie just came out this year, didn't it?
Oh, but wait.
Because it got pushed back.
But isn't it based on? Oh,
I don't know if it's like based on the song release or if it's based on the movie release too.
And I'm thinking Grammys too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And that's dependent on when it was released. That's a good question for the Oscars.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Billie Eilish versus Beyonce versus Jay-Z for Song of the Year, for best original song at the Oscars.
I think Billie Eilish would get it.
I mean, I haven't heard the song, but typically I feel like those James Bond songs are so epic.
Because Adele was nominated, right?
Yeah, she was nominated. I don't know if she. I feel like she was nominated, but I don't know if she won.
Look at us, like not prepared for the Oscar conversation.
Yeah, I'm like, well, I thought we were just going to talk about Beyonce, but now we've opened it up to other artists that are not on the Google Docs. So, yeah, but I guess we will see. If Beyonce will be going to the Oscars as a Oscar nominee, because I feel like too, like obviously people, I'm sure, want Beyonce to EGOT.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
absolutely, she would just need a Tony
if she hypothetically got this Oscar.
Yes, and I don't know how she would get that Tony.
She could just be a producer for a musical.
That's right.
That's how John Legend got his Tony.
Okay, you're right. Because I was wondering when he got his EGOT, I was like, where did the Tony come from? Like,
yeah, that's how a lot of them get the EGOTs, is because they end up being producers.
That's crazy.
And all you have to do is have the money to be a producer.
Right. That's crazy. Well, yeah, she could get the EGOT.
Yeah.
Think about it like that.
Just has to choose the right project. Beyonce, talk with us. Get into our DMs, B. Well, let's strategize.
She for sure is going to do it now.
Yeah.
Now said it like that.
Obviously, she's a listener of Diva Dailies. Okay. Well, let's move on to another newish song that came out. This is about maybe a week or so ago. Mariah Carey. Christmas season is approaching, which means Mariah Carey season is approaching, and she has a brand new Christmas song featuring Khaled. Is it Khalid or Khaled? Khaled?
I say Khaled.
Okay.
But we might be wrong. I don't know now.
Okay. Well, featuring Khaled and Kirk Franklin, and the song is called Fall in Love at Christmas. And there was also a lovely little festive music video that came along with it. What were your thoughts on the song and the video?
I love the song.
Really? You love the song?
First of all, why did you say it like that?
Okay, I'll go first. I'll go first, and I'll say... Okay, you know what? Here's the thing. When you say Mariah and Christmas, I'm expecting big things. Mariah has set a precedent for herself, so I'm expecting big things. Obviously, I'm not expecting something like that can ever top All I Want for Christmas Is You. Like that's very hard to do.
Right.
Maybe Mariah might do it because she's fully capable, but I just feel like for me, this Fall in Love at Christmas, I feel like there was too much of Khaled on it. I wish he wasn't on the track, honestly. And I wish Kirk Franklin came into the song a bit earlier. I feel like I was kind of waiting for the Kirk Franklinist to come, and then it like comes towards the very end and then it's over. And you're like, oh, but it was getting so good. That's how I feel.
I will say, yes, the gospel side of the track at the end was my favorite part.
Yes.
But you know what? I go into new Mariah Christmas songs not really expecting much. Because we have
great
the pinnacle
Christmas songs.
Yeah. So all of this is like cherry on top. So that's how I go into it.
Yeah.
Not expecting much. So pretty much anything that she does, there's an exception of like a couple Christmas songs that she's done. But, they feel lovely, Christmassy. It gives me the spirit. That's all I need, because I can always go back to the first album that she did.
Right.
If I want to get my Mariah Christmas feels.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually enjoyed her vocal performance.
Oh yeah, she always like sounds great.
It very much reminded me. What song did it remind me? It reminded me of like her early stuff, like the first 3 albums, Mariah.
Oh, I love Debut Raya era.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I follow that Instagram account, by the way, Debut Raya.
You said shout out.
Yeah.
But yeah, she sounded great. Khaled, he sounded good. It was just
I just feel like he's not necessary on the track. I don't know why I feel like Mariah was like, well, to get the youngins interested, we need to put him on the track. I don't know what value he added. I mean, he looked happy to be there.
He did. He absolutely
I'd be happy
did.
too to be in a Christmas setting with Mariah Carey, but
I mean, yeah. it was one of those tracks that I could play when in the background. I got my hot chocolate, chilling, watching the movie A Christmas Story. Like, it's one of those tracks. Yeah. And I appreciate it for that.
Mm-hmm. Well, Khaled, thank you for your service, I guess. But I wish there was another edition of just Mariah and Kirk Franklin.
Oh, that would be amazing.
See, doesn't that sell you? Mariah, Kirk Franklin, full stop. That's it. That's all I need.
That would be great. Yeah. I wouldn't mind that at all.
I wouldn't mind that either. That would be cool if like Mariah did like a festive Christmas album with like gospel influences and had Kirk Franklin like kind of help her do all of that.
We're talking like Preacher's Wife, that kind of gospel.
Like, yeah, I mean, I would be interested.
I would, yeah.
But I feel like Mariah would probably make it a little bit more poppy than Whitney did with, Preacher's Wife.
Because she's trying to make the coin.
Yeah.
I mean, Christmas is her season.
Yeah. So I know one of my favorite songs off that first Christmas album is one of the gospel songs that comes towards the end that Mariah did. I think it's called Jesus, So What a Wonderful Child.
Yes.
I love that song off of that first Christmas album. It's so good. So if Mariah were to do kind of something like that,
yeah,
I would. Oh my God, Mariah, come on the pod to promote it.
She definitely has a history of making things feel churchy.
Yeah, like make it happen is
make it happen anytime you need a friend. Like those big choir elements.
Yeah,
the background vocals stacked. Like, yes, I'm here for it. I would support that.
I think that's for me why I was maybe a little bit disappointed. I don't want to say disappointed, but I was like, because I saw Kirk Franklin in the mix, so I was like, oh, this is good. But then she spent so much time with Khaled, and then Kirk Franklin came in towards the end. I wish it was a little bit more integrated throughout the song.
We gotta wait for the live. Hopefully, she does a live performance of it, and then has the full choir. What Kirk Franklin?
Well, my friend Diego, who has also been on Diva Dailies and is a huge Mariah stan, he's a lamb as well. He said that apparently Mariah is in talks to do another Christmas special with Apple. I think it's supposed to come out this year. I might be wrong, but maybe she'll integrate this. And we could etch out Khaled and bring in Kirk Franklin and the gospel choir.
Tell us how you really feel about Khaled.
Yeah, no offense to the Khaled stans, but that's just how I feel when it comes to Mariah. That's how, like, have you ever listened to off her second Christmas album? She has a song called, which is one of my favorites. It's called When Christmas Comes.
Yeah.
So there's a version that she has with John Legend.
Oh.
And I remember the first time I heard that song, it was the version with John Legend. I remember being like, oh, what is this? Like, why is he on here with her? And then I think there's another version where it's just her. And I was like, oh, so much better.
Yeah, I'm one of those people. We're about to just annoy stans all over the world right now. But I don't like John Legend's voice.
Oh, really? Wow.
I really, it just doesn't do it for me. It feels like he's begging all the time. And then it feels like it's very much, he's changed his voice too, from the R&B John Legend to, the wedding song John Legend.
Yeah, I feel like John Legend, as he has progressed, it has kind of become like a caricature of himself.
Yes.
So people like Jamie Foxx can make fun of him.
Right.
But yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, from Mariah to Whitney.
let's do it.
I mean, I'm excited because it's Whitney, but our topics under the Whitney heading here are not bringing me joy. So
that part.
In short, because nothing is sacred when it comes to Whitney, a remake of The Preacher's Wife and The Bodyguard are in the works. And these were all announced within weeks of each other. So,
Yeah.
Angie, what are your thoughts? Are you excited about a Preacher's Wife reboot, a Bodyguard reboot, and to add insult to injury, Courtney B. Vance and Angela Bassett and another person are producing The Preacher's Wife remake. So, for those of you guys who aren't aware of the history between Whitney and Courtney B. Vance and Angela Bassett, Whitney was in Waiting to Exhale with Angela Bassett, and then she was in The Preacher's Wife with Courtney B. Vance, and then Angela Bassett also directed that Lifetime movie about Whitney that Bobby Christina was not very happy about when she was alive. So yeah, there's a lot of history between these people. So what are your thoughts on that news?
It's a no for me. It's all the way hardcore no. I'm tired of reboots. One,
yeah,
please let's stop.
Mm-hmm.
But something like The Bodyguard and The Preacher's Wife, the Bodyguard in particular is not a fantastic movie.
Which you can go back and listen to that episode because we made so much fun of that movie. I love Whitney. We love Whitney, but man, that movie has a lot of iconic moments.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cult classic.
Yeah.
But it's a cult classic because of Whitney Houston.
Exactly.
And the soundtrack. Like,
exactly.
There is nobody alive right now. Even if you put Beyonce in the film, I would say no. Why do we need it? It's done. We did it. There's nothing that's going to come out that can be better than the original, especially with something like The Bodyguard. Now, The Preacher's Wife, kind of the same thing. The reason why it was so special is because of Denzel and Whitney.
Yeah.
Like we were rooting, well, at least I was rooting for the angel.
I was like, every time I watch Preacher's Wife, I'm like, maybe she'll cheat and walk away with Denzel this time.
That's what I
It will be different.
Every single time. Single time. But again, what made The Preacher's Wife special is the soundtrack. There is nobody who's going to do it like Whitney. And to even put yourself in a situation to be compared to Whitney Houston,
oh my God,
I'd be
scared.
I'm saying like
I'd be shaking in my boots with Olivia Rodrigo too.
I feel like it just we don't need it. There's other amazing storylines that can be written, that can be directed. There's so many great stories out there. We don't need this. Please, let's just move on.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I'm right there with you. I think Whitney is a huge reason why those movies are what they are, especially when it comes to The Bodyguard. That just feels like when you think The Bodyguard, you immediately think Whitney Houston, like period. Exactly. There is no, I mean, like, I guess you could think of Kevin Costner too, but like, let's be real. Whitney is first, and it's largely because of the soundtrack, like we discussed today, and like we discussed back then. And it just again, like kind of like what I was saying earlier in the episode too, like I just feel like I don't know if the estate has any say in this. I mean, obviously I feel like I wonder if they do like ask the Whitney Houston estate, like how would you feel if we were to do like a remake? I'm sure they're not the end all be all, but I'm sure they maybe get asked at the very least. It just feels like everything Whitney did, and because they're trying to like, reboot her projects, there's kind of this like insinuation of like, oh, Whitney can essentially be replaced, which I don't like. We all know that's not true. And when it comes to The Bodyguard in particular, like I was reading here that the screenwriter was like, well, it's not like technically a sequel, like, and it's not really the same story either. And then in my head, I'm like, well, why are you calling it The Bodyguard? Like, call it something else then. They're really just using the title of The Bodyguard because that's going to get people interested in seeing like a movie under the guise of like, oh, it's The Bodyguard, but really it's not The Bodyguard. And if I was a actress, filling the Whitney role, I would be like scared. Like that's such an iconic role, even though like again the movie was pretty funny.
Yeah.
That's still like that's such an iconic role that is so defined by her. I feel like what they're also trying to do too with The Bodyguard is maybe make it sort of like a Star is Born kind of movie where it's going to be remade like every 10-15 years, and like the pop diva of the time will fill the Whitney role, which I guess I there is a justification in that, but like I just don't want it to be The Bodyguard, because The Bodyguard to me is Whitney.
Well, and you can't do it with The Bodyguard again because Whitney Houston was the voice.
Yeah.
It's just like you want to redo a role like that if you know you can either be as good or better.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nobody, not a single soul out right now who can do I Have Nothing better than Whitney Houston or something similar.
Yeah, I don't even like, if I was like, I who would do the music for this Bodyguard movie? Do you think they would try and get maybe like David Foster to do it again?
But would he do it? That's the question.
I feel like David Foster would do it because did you ever watch that David Foster documentary? He's kind of an asshole.
Really?
Yeah. He's like a huge ego. I feel like David Foster would probably be willing to do it again. But, you know, like, God, that's like such a.
But then it goes back to like, even if
fill in.
They got everybody from
you don't have Whitney.
You don't have Whitney. Who is the voice?
And let's be real, the reason why that album sold as many copies as it did is not because of side B with all the other songs I've never listened to before. It is tracks 1 through 6.
It's those 6 songs. Exactly. Like, yeah, it goes back to we just don't need it.
Yeah.
We don't need it.
We don't need it. You know what we also don't need? This Whitney Houston hologram that now has a residency in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to see that hologram?
Hell no.
Me too.
I don't like holograms.
I think they kind of creep me out.
Yeah, and they never look exactly like the artist.
Mm-mm.
And it's like, why am I going to see this thing? A lot of times it's not the original singer. It's just like, it's weird. Like, why am I paying money for this when I could go home, listen to it, or they can re-release the concerts?
That's what I'm saying. My God, please re-release her concerts. Not even re-release. Release the concerts, because they never were released.
You know what I would pay money for? If it was like a live show. So I like the Hollywood Bowl.
Oh my God, that would be so amazing. I would pay for that too. Holy shit. I just got chills.
For the people who don't know what we're talking about. So the Hollywood Bowl, they do this thing. It's in a venue here in Hollywood, obviously. And sometimes they'll show film, and then they have the LA Philharmonic doing the score. God. If they did that
with Whitney,
I would pay for that over and over and over again.
Oh my God. That would be like a religious experience.
Listen,
oh my God. Whitney's estate, please subscribe to the podcast and we will give you ideas for a price. But yeah, that see, I feel like that kind of project I would support.
I would absolutely support that.
Because she is at the forefront of it. It's not like a likeness of her where it's like a hologram, or let's say someone pretending to be her in a biopic. It is actually Whitney Houston.
Exactly. I would pay for that over and over and over again. And then imagine going to the Hollywood Bowl and they got the merch area and they got all the vinyl. Like
they got the vinyl, and then maybe they could like release like a nostalgia kind of merch set,
like a leather jacket.
Yeah, I'm your baby tonight.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Pat is so fucking stupid. Let's talk about another way where Pat is stupid. This Whitney biopic. So, new director, Casey Lemons, who did Harriet, has filled in for Stella McGee. And interestingly, a couple of days ago, Stella McGee tweeted this. She said, quote, "When I first got to LA, I got this advice from a mentor. People will hire you for your voice, then try to strip it away to play things safe. Your success will depend on your ability to persuade them to keep as much of you on the page possible. Never forgotten that." So I don't know if maybe that is alluding to the Whitney biopic, but she is no longer part of that project. And who else is not part of the project anymore is the actress who was going to play Robin Crawford. Her name is Moses Ingram. You might recognize her if you watch The Queen's Gambit. She's no longer going to be playing Robin Crawford. Instead, she has been replaced by Nafessa Williams. So how do you feel about these shakeups?
I actually became a little bit more interested because Miss Williams joined the project. She was on Black Lightning. She played a character, Thunder, on Black Lightning, and I love her to death.
Okay.
I'm also, you said Casey Lemons. She directed Eve's Bayou. Oh. I love Eve's Bayou. It's one of my favorite films. I hate to say that I'm low-key interested, but not because of the biopic itself, but because of the people associated with it. I just want to see what happens. Will I support it in the theaters? No. It's going to be a fire stick situation. But I'm just being honest right now. But yeah, I'm still kind of interested a little bit, maybe. Just because.
I feel like, knowing me, I'm gonna watch this in the theater because it's Whitney. I know me. I will go to the theater and I will watch it, even if that means having to use my money to support another handbag for Patricia. I mean, it is what it is. Unfortunately, that's the situation we have all gotten ourselves into. But what I'm hoping with when it comes to this Whitney biopic is Clive Davis, God willing, hopefully he does not die, because has anyone seen Clive Davis lately? Ooh, yikes. He's getting up there in age. I hope Clive Davis and the team at Arista will think of, in conjunction with this biopic coming out, think of releasing an actual concert documentary of some sort with Whitney, or some new, like, these were the rares that were never released and here they are. Like, I just feel like, come on, Clive, make this a moment. Give us, that's the thing. I want the real Whitney. She's no longer here. I want projects with Whitney, not holograms or people pretending to be Whitney. I want Whitney. That's when my love will be reinvigorated. I am tired. I am tired of this. I'm tired of this, Pa.
I hate to burst your bubble.
No.
But I highly doubt that that's going to happen, because they would have did it with the Whitney doc. They would have released all of that stuff with the Whitney doc.
But I feel like the biopic is going to be a bigger release compared to a documentary.
I don't think so, because
really?
There has been already biographies and docs. There's been so many. People we're exhausted. Stop creating documentaries about her, unless it's just about the music. I don't want to hear about Bobby. I don't want to hear about Bobby.
You're going to hear about Bobby in this biopic.
Right? And then Bobby Brown released his stuff. Like, we've gotten so much. So but what's going to make this different?
I feel like this biopic, it's not a Lifetime movie or a VH1 movie. Like, this is an official big studio biopics. People are doing biopics right now. Freddie Mercury, Queen, Rocket Man, Elton John, that horrendous Aretha Franklin biopic. Not worth talking about. They're trying to get on this trend of biopics, and I feel like they're going to try and make this a big thing, because those, at least not the Aretha one, but the Rocket Man and the Queen one, were so successful. They're going to try and make this a moment for Whitney. Maybe not necessarily for Whitney coming from the heart, but for Whitney with monetary gain.
Well, we'll see. Because I don't know. I just don't have a lot of faith in Clive. I don't have a lot of faith in Pat.
Well, yeah, my faith in Pat is nowhere to be found. So
I don't have any faith at all. Because they had other moments to make or do big things with the estate and with her legacy, and they dropped the ball each and every time. So I'm gonna burst my own bubble to not get super excited about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if there's one thing being a Whitney fan has taught me is to control my expectations and to not really have any.
Facts. Facts.
Oh, God. Okay. Well, we go from a sad place to a happy place. Next on the agenda, let's talk about the Spice Girls. Okay. So this, I wonder if that's even going to be picked up by your mics. You were like, the Spice Girls.
The Spice Girls.
Okay. Ooh, gotta calm down. So this was the artist. This is one of the artists that I was alluding to in my Oscar moment of the week. If you would have told me a year ago to this day that I would become a huge Spice Girls stan, even at the beginning of 2021, that would have not been on my bingo card at all. No offense to the girls, but it really would have not been on my bingo card. But then, as with most of my obsessions in life, it happened over the summer, and I got into the Spice Girls rabbit hole tunnel. I am here. I am announcing formally I am a huge Spice Girls stan. And maybe this was not coincidental. Maybe it was meant to be, because this happened on the 25th anniversary of their debut album, Spice. And now I'm here. The girls are here. And over the weekend, because I feel like these bitches, they knew. They were like, we got to give her something to talk about on Diva Dailies, because it can't just be this anniversary album. No. The girls, Melanie Brown, Mel B, that's Scary Spice for the uncultured folk. Emma Bunton, Baby Spice. Jerry Halliwell, now Horner. Ginger, and supposedly Melanie Chisholm, Mel C, aka Sporty Spice, met with them over Zoom because she's here in LA. Maybe you could see her, Angie, hiking. Those four had a meeting, supposedly in talks, allegedly in talks for more touring in 2023. There's whispers, rumblings in the blogs that they're going to go to Australia first and then hit the US. But according to the article that I read, Adele urged Mel B, when Mel B attended Adele's an audience with in the UK like a week or so ago, that they need to tour, because Adele was thinking of the people, aka me. And so now we're here, and I am excited.
Can I just say, I knew you were becoming obsessed with the Spice Girls based off of your Twitter. It was like
all I tweet about now.
She went from Whitney Houston, posting random stuff, and then all of a sudden it was Spice Girls. And I would be on the timeline, she's really into the Spice Girls right now. It was like everything Spice Girls. I was like, oh, she's obsessed now. She's obsessed.
I know. I had to really space out my tweets. I was like, oh no, I can't tweet again. Like my internet, my online identity brand is tied to being a Whitney Houston stan. I can't suddenly pivot and start tweeting about the Spice Girls, but the spicy tweets are going to start being integrated more on the timeline.
They were integrated very well this past month. Like, you have been on it.
Oh my God. Well, so much is happening in the Spice-verse. And I'm just excited. Ladies, if you come to America, I am literally willing to see you multiple times. My debit card is ready. I'm actually scared of what will happen if they do announce tickets.
This is the only thing that sucks about the pandemic, is that tours are starting next year. My account already, like, I'm just preparing for my account to just be demolished.
Oh, I'm scared.
A lot of my favorite artists are going touring next year in big ways. And I'm just like, man, I'm about to be broke. Super broke. I hate it.
Well, this is what we do for our artists. When you commit, you really commit.
That's true. That's very true. That's very true.
Oh, Spice Girls, let's dance. What's your relationship to the Spice Girls? I know your favorite girl group is TLC.
As long as you know.
As long as I know. I do know that. I do know that.
But my Spice Girls relationship is great. I loved them when I was. You thought I was going to say.
Fucking hate them. I hate those.
No, Spice Girls are classics. Like,
Thank you.
I love the Spice Girls. Grew up on the Spice Girls. I was like 6 when they came out, and they were on Radio Disney all the time. I used to listen to Radio Disney religiously. They were on there.
I feel like when I was okay, so when I started getting into the Spice Girls, so this is kind of embarrassing to admit, I had never listened to the Spice Girls albums in full until this summer. Yeah. Because when the Spice Girls came out, and by the time Jerry left the band, I was like 3-4 years old. So I don't really have any like memories of the Spice Girls when they were at their like peak in their Imperial phase.
Right.
And when they had their first reunion in the mid 2000s, that's really where more of like my Spice Girls memories start happening. But my parents were never like, oh, you have an interest in the Spice Girls, let's get you the album. It was like one song only, iTunes 99 cents, 1 or 2 songs. So it's like my Spice Girls musical knowledge was very limited until this past summer. Wow. When I was like, okay, I'm gonna listen to every single Spice Girls album, which there's only 3. And I was like, oh my God, this is good. What the hell? They have really good music, you guys.
Yes.
It has truly brought me so much joy. I don't think I realized how like early 90s R&B their sound was, especially the Spice album.
Yeah.
I think is my favorite Spice Girls album is Spice.
I agree. I think that's my favorite too.
Yeah. But then like Spice World is like so much more poppier, and there's like, it's such an eclectic album because there's so many different kind of like sounds there. There's like the Latin and the rock and then the pop. But then like, okay, by the time I got to Forever, I was bracing myself. I was like, holy shit, like everyone fucking hates this album. I'm scared. But and I will say, the first time I listened to Forever, I was like, oof, Jerry would have never let this happen. This is what happens when Jerry leaves the band. but it has grown on me. It has grown on me. And I will say, to tie into Janet, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis have a song with the Spice Girls. It is track number 9 on Forever, and it's called If You Want to Have Some Fun. And oh my God, I cannot believe I went my entire life not knowing this song. It is such a jam. Oh my God, you guys, please, if there's one takeaway you can get from this episode, listen to track 9 off of Forever. It's called If You Want to Have Some Fun. Thank you, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. That is, in my opinion, the Spice Girls' most underrated song in their entire discography. If you want to have some fun. That. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Tell me, do you like the Rudy stuff? I don't even know what the Rudy stuff is. Is that a UK slang? I don't know, but it sounds cool. And then it's followed off by their, I would say, in the running for the worst song in their catalog, another Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis song. It's called Oxygen. Holy fuck. That is rough. That is rough. Oh my God. That is the ballads on Forever are pretty bad, except for Goodbye.
That's true.
Better than If You Want to Have Some Fun. Thank you.
And Spice is my favorite album.
Oh my God.
For sure. I mean, because you got Mama.
Oh, you like Mama?
Yes. But again, I grew up on the Spice Girls.
Oh, okay. So it's like
Mama was a big thing. It was like
it's like you and your mom are like, Mom, I love
like that's the song right there.
What's your favorite song off of Spice? I know I'm putting you on the spot. You probably haven't like listened to it like recently, but there's so many. Like I'm like truly shocked at how actually like really, really good their catalog is.
Say You'll Be There?
Me too. I think Say You'll Be There is my favorite Spice Girls song.
Probably yes. I was about to say it's my favorite Spice Girls song. It's a feel good song.
Oh my God.
It's got a nice pre-chorus. Like it's just a well-developed song, well-structured song. Just great all around.
Yeah.
Yes. Of course you got the classics Wanna Be on there too. Like it's just is Naked on that album?
Yes. Oh, okay. Angie knows the Spice album. I thought she was gonna say, Two Become One. Everyone knows Two Become One.
Two Become One though It's the jam though.
Oh, I love To Become One. I love the orchestra. Have you ever heard the orchestral version of To Become One?
Yeah.
Gorgeous. Girls.
Yes.
So good.
But Naked is a fave. I'm like racking my brain right now. Something Kind of Funny is on the album too, right?
Love Something Kind of Funny. That is that's a deep cut. Only the real Spice Girls fans know that song.
Well, you know,
Something Kind of Funny. What are your thoughts on Last Time Lover?
It's cool.
You know what? I was really surprised how it sounds a lot like a TLC song to me. It's like Mel Boz came out.
Not Mel Boz.
Mel Boz.
I can see that.
Came out. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like Last Time Lover for me, it could be skipped normally, but if I'm letting the album play out, it's cool. Let it play. But I would normally skip that one.
I'm trying to think what else is on. Oh, Who Do You Think You Are?
Oh, that's the jam right there. Yes.
Yes. Have you ever seen their Brit Awards performance, the 1997 Brit Awards performance of Who Do You Think You Are? It begins with Wannabe. Oh my God, Angie, I need to send it to you.
Okay.
It's like, it's iconic. That's like a lot of people, like I think a lot of people in the UK would say that's like between that and the Olympics performance, those are like their two most iconic.
The Olympics.
The Olympics was a moment.
I remember I teared up.
I was so fucking hyped when those bitches came, when the taxis changed.
Yes. I teared up.
And then when they got on the taxi,
yes,
started to drive around.
Because in that moment, I was like, I missed so much because I never went to a Spice Girls concert.
Oh my God.
I don't think my parents would have allowed me to go to a Spice Girls concert in the 90s. Yeah. I was a baby, but I was just like, man, I missed so much. I want to see the Spice Girls.
No, I love those girls so fucking much. I'm in my Spice Girls journey right now. I've obviously listened through all the albums, but I've watched different documentaries about the girls. Like, have you watched any Spice Girls documentaries?
Was there a documentary for Spice World?
Maybe like a MTV special.
I probably saw an MTV special, if that was the case. I feel like I saw something around, it was like a behind the scenes type of thing.
Okay, yeah, it was probably like an MTV sort of thing. But I watched, there's this really great documentary that I'm so happy that they have footage and this was made. It's called Raw Spice. It was released in the early 2000s. And it's literally like, I want to say like 95% raw footage of the Spice Girls before they were even called the Spice Girls. Oh. And it's when they were like in the house in Maidenhead. That's where they started. And they were all living together in the house and like their early rehearsals. And like you see like Melby and Jerry like fighting and they're like having this like really intense back and forth and they have vocal lessons. And it's like, and the way that they're dancing to is so different from like what we know as the Spice Girls, but it's very endearing to watch.
Do you know making the band?
Yeah, it's like literally making the band. Do you know that they literally like ran away from their first management?
Yes, I do know that.
That story is like wild. Yes. Speaking of masters, they literally ran away.
Yeah, they said no
with their tapes.
They said it's a no for me.
Oh my God. But yeah, I didn't. It was interesting. Like when we were doing the first season of Diva Dailies, and by the time we got to the Spice World episode, I remember YouTube algorithm will start spitting out to you like topics that are related to whatever you're watching. So I was watching a lot of Spice Girls related videos, and then I guess Melanie C was doing live streams during the pandemic, and she talked about the tour that they went on. And I didn't even know that they toured the UK in 2019. And let me tell you, I found several YouTube videos of like that were like edited by fans, but it looks legit. Like it's good quality. Like the editing is really, really good. Their 2019 tour was so good. That's why I really want them to come to America. If they bring that exact same show, I personally wouldn't be pissed because that show was really, really good. I think that's their best tour that they've done, that 2019 tour.
They were supposed to come out to America, I want to say in 2018, either 2017 or 2018.
Oh.
And they were in talks with coming back and doing a tour with, I think, the Backstreet Boys.
Oh, right. But
listen,
it like fell through.
Yes, but when they announced it, I was like, oh, my coins are gone, because I'm a big fan of Backstreet Boys too.
Oh, see, when I was younger, the Backstreet Boys, like if it was like Backstreet Boys versus NSYNC, I was a Backstreet Boys girl.
Thank you, because you know.
Yeah.
Because you know. Well, I love the Backstreet Boys because they were legit an R&B group. They were just a white R&B group. So that's why I love them, and their harmonies were, yeah. So when they were talking about doing a tour together, I was just like, yes, ma'am. Take my money.
Absolutely. Here we are. Let's go.
Yes. Exactly.
I need to send you the link. Okay, I need to send you the link to their 2019 tour.
2019 tour. And the
there was something else I had to send you, but I forgot.
Wannabe and Who Do You Think You Are performance.
Oh, right. Okay. I need to, oh my God. I feel like I'm going to start like sending you so much.
This is what happens. You started sending me Whitney stuff after the Whitney Cup.
Okay. Oh my God. Here we go. Ooh, then I could have someone to talk about the Spice Girls with.
And I'm writing all this stuff down too. So.
Oh, perfect. Boom. She has a notepad and everything. Before we leave the Spice Girls, even though it will make me upset to, have to leave them behind. Do you have a favorite Spice Girl?
Of course. Scary. For obvious reasons.
Okay, I feel like for me, it really depends on the era. But if it was like gun to my head, who is your favorite Spice Girl? Mel B.
I mean,
Superior Spice.
I'm saying for obvious reasons, for myself as a Black chick, because she's a Black chick. But I also, if I wasn't going based off of that, Sporty.
Because Melanie C has the vocals.
Listen. And she did the song with Left Eye.
Oh, yes, Never Be the Same Again.
Yes. So
the US to UK.
And I was a tomboy. She was a tomboy. Like, it's just her and Scary.
Yeah.
Did it for me.
I mean, I genuinely do love all the girls. And I think like depending on the era, it changes for me.
Right.
But if I gun to my head, I would say Mel B is my favorite. Like currently, if I were to rank them, Mel B, Mel C, Emma,
okay,
Jerry, Victoria, because she's not in talks with the girls doing anything with them right now. I'm sure she's friends with them, but at least that's what I'm telling myself. But you guys, friendship never ends. You guys, friendship never ends. But yeah.
No, that's my ranking. That's my exact ranking.
Really? That's your exact ranking, like indefinitely?
Yeah.
Wow.
That would be. Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
I mean, and that's a fair ranking.
Yeah.
Baby Spice is third, right?
Yeah, I said Emma Bunton was third.
Yeah. That would be my ranking.
I think during like prime era Spice Girls, I have Jerry and Mel B like fighting for number one.
Oh no, okay, I can see that too.
Because like Jerry was so like, like in your face, like, yeah, girl power, woo! And now it's like Jerry just wears white all the time. And
you're like, I'm not here for that.
She's baking and riding horses and I don't know.
She's living her best life in white.
Yeah. Even though she calls herself a rainbow woman and she wears white. What the hell is that? Jerry stands are going to be in my mentions now. Like, don't talk about Jerry like that.
You know they are.
Yeah, I know. We got a lot of fans coming after us today. Okay. Well, let's move on from the Spice Girls and quickly jump to Kylie Minogue. This is the second artist that I became really obsessed with. I'm going to say specifically her disco era. I haven't listened to every Kylie Minogue album. This is my first Kylie Minogue album that I've listened to in full. It's called Disco. And over the weekend or a couple of days ago, she just released Disco again, but it's the guest list edition. So it's the original disco songs plus the songs that came on the deluxe edition, but she also has 3 new duets with Ollie Alexander from Years and Years, Jessie Ware, and Gloria Gaynor, as well as some new remixes. This is literally one of my favorite albums in recent years. I love Kylie Minogue's disco album. Is so fucking good. And I can't believe it has taken me. It literally took, you want to know why I got into Kylie Minogue? Because I watched this interview with the Spice Girls. when they were on Jonathan Ross, they were sitting on this couch, and you know who else is on the couch with them? Kylie fucking Minogue. The way that singular couch influenced the music that I have been listening to over the past couple of months. It was Kylie Minogue and the Spice Girls. And I was like, oh, Kylie Minogue. I'm going to give her a listen. And I looked to see what was the most recent album. Disco. I was like, oh, disco. This sounds like up my alley. And it really was. And I can't believe I was like a year late to the party, but I'm here. So love the album. Have you listened to some of the songs at least, or?
I listened to a couple, and I only could say one song for sure because I can't remember the other song that I listened to.
Yeah.
But Can't Stop Writing Love Letters with Gloria Gaynor.
Oh, right. Yes.
Or Can't Stop Writing Love Letters About You.
Mm-hmm.
That's the name of the song. But I just listened to that song this morning. And I was like, oh, this is a cute little song. I haven't heard Gloria Gaynor in forever in 18 years.
Right.
And for those who don't know, she is one of the queens of disco.
So it makes sense.
Right. She did I Will Survive, right? I think she did I Will Survive.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Her voice definitely has aged. But outside of that, it was a fun little disco record.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it wasn't bad at all.
Yeah.
But what I've heard, it's disco.
Yeah, it is disco. I love it. It's so good. Oh my gosh. I think, you know what I was reflecting, I think what I love about recently getting into the Spice Girls and now this Kylie Minogue disco album is I love just how fun the music is. I feel like in music, especially nowadays, we don't really get fun music anymore.
No, we get vibes.
Yeah, it's vibes. It's very mellow, or it's just really sad. But I appreciate at least listening to these artists and getting into them because they just make such great, fun, happy music. And we're missing that. So
I agree. The up tempos. We're missing the up tempos.
Yeah, we're missing up tempos.
Yeah.
So yeah. Kylie Minogue's disco album, please give it a listen. But speaking of sad music.
What a segue.
Let's talk about the queen of sadness. Adele's 30th era is just around the corner. And at the time of recording this, last night, and I know you watched this because I saw your tweets. Last night, Adele had a TV special here in America called Adele. What was it? It was like Adele One Night.
One Night Only.
One Night Only.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And she performed in LA in front of the Griffith Observatory. And there were a lot of celebrity people in the audience. It was kind of like a who's who.
Yes.
For anyone who has seen Barbra Streisand's One Voice special back in like 1986, she did it in her Malibu home in California back then. And there were a lot of celebrities in the audience. One Miss Whitney Houston was there. Bette Midler was there. I felt like it was very similar. Yeah. Adele's people probably watched that and was like, let's do that. So
right.
Yeah, but it aired last night on CBS, as well as an interview with Oprah was interspersed within the special. So what were your thoughts? She debuted some new songs off of 30 in that special. So what were your thoughts on the special, the music?
Well, let me just say this. I didn't watch the special.
Oh, you didn't?
I heheard. So I didn't.
Oh, okay. Because Angie was using hashtag Adele One Night. I was like, oh, Angie's watching the special.
Because here's what happened. I saw a lot of people that I love to follow. They were talking about it, and they started talking about new songs. And I said, oh, I want to hear the new songs. So of course, I go to YouTube, and somebody has already recorded it and put it on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I was just listening to the new songs. And Hold On that girl. And Adele, she sounds amazing still. Love her.
Yeah. I mean, she sounded amazing. She looked amazing. I really liked Hold On. I also really liked wait, where's my phone? Okay, wait. I have here, I screenshotted the set list. So you haven't watched the special?
No. I mean, I've seen like, I want to say 5 of the performances. It's pretty much the whole set list. No, I'm lying. I saw the whole set list this morning. It's 21 minutes. They just put it on YouTube.
So she did Hello,
Yes.
Easy on Me, Skyfall, I Drink Wine, Someone Like You, When We Were Young, Make You Feel My Love, Hold On, Rolling in the Deep, and Love is a Game.
Yes. Love is a Game is a bop too.
Oh my gosh. Love is a the beginning is so pretty.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, the beginning is really, really pretty. I was like, oh. And you know, the way they introed the song was in the interview, Oprah was like, can you write music from a happy place? Because, you know, you're seeing someone new, and Adele was talking about the person she's seeing now. I think it's some sort of like Hollywood agent or someone.
Yeah.
And yeah, she was just basically talking about how she's happy in a relationship, and then it transitioned into Love is a Game. And like did you see the visuals though when she was like in front of the so pretty. Yes. It looked like I don't know, astrology projections.
It did.
And I was like, oh, the LA people are gonna really love that. Just put crystals and
no, it was absolutely gorgeous. I did tweet this out. I hope all the string arrangements that we heard ends up on the album, because I would be in my feelings if I listen to Hold On and there's no string arrangements in the song and it's just piano. Like, girl,
no,
I know.
I feel like it will. I don't think like, because I feel like Adele has like those songs in her albums where it's like really just pretty much piano, but then she also has like the more orchestral songs, and I feel like that's probably going to be one of them.
But we listened to 3 new songs, all had crazy string arrangements.
Yes.
She didn't miss.
I really liked I Drink Wine.
Oh, that was a good one too. There wasn't a song that I heard that was new that wasn't good.
Yeah.
I just love Adele. And you know what? I will say I forget how much I love Adele because I'm not listening to Adele all the time. Yeah. But as soon as I listened to Hold On, I started replaying her music, and the 25 album came on. And I was just like, I love her so much.
So, okay, so since you're a huge fan of Adele, how do you feel about, you know, when Easy on Me first came out, everyone was like, oh my God, new Adele, yes. But then there were also discussions on the internet of, is Adele boring? Does she just make the same music over and over again? What are your thoughts on that discussion?
Okay, so 2 things. When Easy on Me came out, I was not moved at all.
Oh, really?
I didn't move me. I listened to the song.
Not Easy on Me. Did you watch the video?
I watched the video. It was a cute little video.
Like, keep driving down that street where all these people are happy, but you're not, and keep going like this with your hand out the window. Love the color red.
It was cute. Easy on Me definitely sounded like other material I've already heard.
Yeah. So, but I will say I love that opening lyric though of Easy on Me. The fire. There ain't no gold in this river that my hands keep. I was like, yeah, that's written by someone who has lived.
Her pen game is on point. There's no denying her pen game at all. It definitely sounded like something I've already heard. So that's why I wasn't impressed.
Okay.
But there is a remix. I don't know if you've seen this remix floating
around.
Oh,
the Twitter. 80s remix.
Listen, that is the version that I listen to. I don't listen to the original. I listen to that version. You guys listen to the 80s version. What is it? Is it La Roche? La Roche.
I don't know off the top of my head, but I know what you're talking about.
LAROCHE. The La Roche 80s version. It sounds like it was supposed to be in the San Junipero episode. I said I tweeted this out too.
Yeah, it has vibes. San Junipero vibes.
Love it. But as far as Adele being boring, I hardcore disagree with that. She is not a boring artist. She's a different kind of artist than who's been out a lot now.
Oh yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Right? She's going to give you a 12-track album. Almost every song is going to be minimum 4 minutes, at most 6. So she's giving you.
I was looking at the track list that had there's a version of the track list that has like the times, and like a good chunk of them are like 5 to 6 minutes long.
This is what we need in our lives. This is what we need in life, and it's not even just about like she has a lot to say, but she allows the the music to speak for itself.
Mm.
So we don't get a lot of those artists. Most of the artists are trying to, crank out 2 to 3 minute songs. We don't get bridges. We don't get a phenomenal pre-chorus and all like well-structured songs.
Yeah.
So when Adele comes out, it's like, oh, it's too long. Oh, she's singing another ballad. Like she is a balladeer. Like what did you expect?
Mm-hmm.
Like this is her thing. She has not strayed away from like her brand. This is who Adele is. And if you don't like it, just don't listen. It's really that easy for any artist too. But I don't think that makes her boring.
Mm-hmm. I think for some people where the criticism comes is like because a lot of her songs stay within like the same kind of like sonic world. Like if her sound is pretty consistent across 19, 21, 25, and now even 30. So I think that's why some people say, she's not necessarily, her sound isn't like overtly evolving in the way in comparison to some like other artists. But I think there is something to be said. Like I like that Adele stays consistent to her sound.
Yeah.
Like Adele knows her brand.
Right, exactly.
And there's something to be said about that. And I would say too, while maybe there is not like a very obvious sonic difference throughout like each of her albums, like it still kind of stays pretty consistent. I think lyrically she has evolved, like her subject matter, and
I agree.
Like just I feel like the pain just becomes deeper, and her lyricism improves throughout each album. But I think it's freaking insane that the first song that she wrote is Hometown Glory, because I think Hometown Glory is like one of her best. Off of 19.
My goodness.
But yeah.
But I will say, I kind of disagree. I think musically she has evolved so much. If you listen to the 21 album versus the 25 album, she's just so out of her comfort zone. With a lot of stuff. Hold on, let me bring up her.
I think that song that she did with Max Martin was different from a lot of her previous music up until that point. I think it was Send One to Your Lover.
Yeah. I also think Send My Love.
Yeah.
I Miss You. That big heavy bass beat, like, oh, that did it for me. Water Under the Bridge has like a groove to it. We weren't she wasn't giving us groove music ever. It was like it was either a pop, like a pop up tempo, kind of like Rolling in the Deep. But she was never giving us a groove. ReRelease sounds different, and then she takes it back and she gives us like Love in the Dark and A Million Years Ago, which is the sad, songs. But Sweetest Devotion too. Like what? I just felt like 25 was, and that's why 25 is my favorite album.
Oh, 25 is your favorite album. Okay.
Listen, and it's not even close for me.
Wow.
It's not even close. I think 21 is played out for me because it was everywhere.
Yeah. That's like her big commercial album.
Yes, there's not a song on there that you can say you never heard because it was playing in every store, everywhere. 19 is the underrated album.
Yeah.
Love 19, but 25 is it for me. That is my fave. What is your fave? What is it?
I think, well, I mean, I don't listen heavily to Adele. I'm not like every day I'm gonna listen to Adele. Like I take her in like, I don't even say like doses. I take her in small doses, but like I will say in the ramp up to 30 a couple weeks ago, I did do like, okay, I'm gonna listen to 19, 21, 25. I think that might have been the first time I listened to every album in full.
I'm shook right now.
Because again, everyone, I lived in a household where it was like, you cherry pick, Steffi. You cherry pick the songs that you really want. You're not getting the whole album. You're cherry picking. So living in this streaming era, I now have access to all of her music in a way that I didn't in like 2012 when some of these albums first came out. So yeah, I would say though, I think, yeah, my ear is still a bit basic when it comes to Adele. I think 21 is probably my That's the one with like Rolling in the Deep, right?
Yeah.
Like the big hits.
Yeah. And 21 is a solid album.
Yeah. But I would say, like, I mean, 25 has, I think, one of my favorite Adele songs, which is All I Ask.
Oh, isn't that the Bruno Mars song?
Yeah, Bruno Mars penned that.
Yes.
Oh man, that's
a good one.
That's really sad.
Yeah.
We're just like, yeah, that's a really sad one. Also really love When We Were Young, which she performed. Oh my God. Wait, have you seen her? Did you watch that performance of When We Were Young?
Yes.
From last night? Okay.
Yes.
So I was watching it, and for those of you guys who didn't watch it, when she performs this, because she's performing in front of the Griffith Observatory, they're projecting like pictures of Adele on the building. And guess what I see in the background of Adele is the picture she took with the Spice Girls during their 2019 tour. The camera was literally panning, and I was like, is that Jerry Halliwell? I was like, wait, that's Mel B. Oh, Emma? Mel C. And they were like doing the girl power side. I was like, oh my God. Spice World 2023 confirmed.
Oh my God.
Adele is sending subliminal messages. She wants the girls to tour. And I was like, that was the highlight of this special for me.
Not the highlight.
Seeing Adele in this beautiful black gown singing in front of the Griffith Observatory with a big projection of her and the Spice Girls. I was like, I tweeted out last night. I was like, put it in the MoMA. Put it in the MoMA. That's the one. That's the image right there.
Spice Girls stand.
Spice Girls
stand.
Adele's a huge Spice Girls stan. She said in her Vogue interview, they were like, Beatles or the Spice Girls, and she said Spice Girls, and I was like, you know what? That's on girl power.
I mean, if they asked me the same question, I would say Spice Girls too. Like, what?
Yeah.
What kind of question is that?
Thank you, Adele, for understanding the people.
Oh my gosh. Did you see the marriage proposal?
Oh, what did you think of that?
So, homegirl is better than me.
Oh my God, I thought you were gonna say, I know her. She's my friend.
No.
And I was like,
no.
Wait, what?
But she's better than me because
I would have been pissed. I would have not. I'm not pissed, but I would have not liked that.
If I was blindfolded, the things that I would have said, thinking I was alone, I would have embarrassed myself. I would have embarrassed myself for sure.
Like, okay, well, family-friendly show, Angie. So,
no, it's just like I can only imagine, like, just trying to be funny.
Yeah.
A lot of times, especially with partners, I tend to make sexually explicit jokes. Or, just, non-family friendly jokes.
Yeah.
So knowing that I could have said that in front of all those people and then pulling off.
I was just thinking, like, if I was this woman, I would not only be overwhelmed with the fact that I was being proposed to, but then, like, out of the darkness emerges Adele.
Listen.
And then you have all of these, like, different celebrities, like, looking at you. Like, I feel like, I think I would have had, like, some sort of, like, I don't know, like, a heart attack or something, because that would have just been too much for me.
Yeah, no, if I saw Lizzo was right there, right? She was in her front.
Yeah.
If I would have saw Lizzo, I'd have been like, oh, what the hell? And then Adele coming, and I love me some Adele.
I'm like
it's just, well, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan. If for me, myself, and I'm not a huge fan of public proposals.
Yeah.
Because you just don't. I don't want to be pressured into something.
Mm.
So, I mean, of course, I would have said yes in the moment, and then enjoyed a free Adele concert.
Mm-hmm.
But listen, I don't know. God bless her though. She loved it. So.
I mean, as it was happening, I was like, oh, I don't like this. Like, and I was thinking too, like, I don't want to watch this during the Adele special. Like, I'm happy for you, but like, this is about Adele. This is not like the wedding proposal. And like, I was thinking too, like, this is so awkward because she's like talking about her divorce throughout most of this interview. And then, like, I mean, I know she's happy and in a relationship now, but I was like, and then we're gonna see a couple like getting engaged. Like, whose idea was this?
But almost everybody I saw on my timeline on Twitter
seemed to really like
it. They were loving it. They said they were tearing up. But proposals don't do that to me. I'm just not a big fan of proposals. Maybe I'm heartless. I don't know. But it's just that it doesn't move me. So I was just like, oh, this is cute. What song is she going to sing next? Like that's what I was thinking the whole time. Okay, what song is coming after this?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. It's like, come on, Adele, like give us a little preview of the next one. But here she is, like emerging from the dark with this random couple. I don't know.
And that's the thing. How did that happen?
Yeah, like why was it them?
I just
Do they
how were
know
they
people?
chosen?
Yeah.
You know?
Was this a contest?
And I guess if you're gonna do a proposal, you might as well do a big one like that.
Yeah.
That's gonna be an unforgettable proposal. I hope it lasts. God bless.
I think the last public proposal I watched was when one of Beyonce's backup dancers got proposed to during her concert.
Yeah.
Ashley.
Yeah.
Ashley and I forget the guy's name. Well, didn't work out. I don't even think they got married. So
really?
Yeah, they didn't get married.
I'm shook.
See, and now if I was Beyonce, I'd be like, I literally stopped my show so that this could happen, and you two didn't even. Wow.
Bruh.
Well,
yeah, that's.
Well, hopefully their marriage will fare better.
Yeah, good vibes out there.
Yeah. So, but are you? I'm assuming, obviously, you're excited for Adele's upcoming 30 era.
Absolutely. Like, okay, I almost spent. I hate to say this. I almost spent $200 last night on Adele.
Buying what?
So, I was going to get the box set CD of 30.
Oh, she's already going to purchase the album. She hasn't even heard most of the tracks.
Listen, because I know she's about to deliver. I heard 3 of them songs last night, so I was like, oh, she's about to deliver. Or 4. We've heard 4 songs. So I was about to buy the box set because I like purchasing CDs still. Then there is a special edition of the 30 album on vinyl, which is a clear version. I was going to buy that and keep it, packaged. Then I was going to buy the regular version so I could listen to it.
Wow. So like basically every tangible copy of 30 in any form you were going to get.
Yes. And then I realized I didn't have any of the other albums on vinyl. So I was about to get her whole shabam.
Oh, wow. On vinyl. So that really sold you. See, look at this. Listen. The purpose of the special was to increase the sales. And it did just that. So yeah. I wonder, I don't know if Adele's gonna, well, I was reading an article the other day from BuzzFeed that apparently she was thinking of not touring this album because she doesn't want people to like, it came out of a sad time, it was pandemic, and she doesn't want people to like, when they hear this album, think of that. So she just kind of wants to move on. Would you see Adele in concert? If
I have seen Adele in concert.
Oh, really?
Yes. So funny story. It's a quick
story. Did you go to the UK to watch her?
No, she was here at the Staples Center.
Oh, okay.
She performed at the Staples Center. So I was, it was a random day. My friend on Facebook, I was still on Facebook. So I'm flipping through Facebook. My friend said, hey, I have an extra ticket to Adele, the Adele concert. Mm-hmm. Does anybody want it? I said, I want it. She was like, okay, well, how much can you pay for it? I was like, how much do you want for it? And she was like, just give me $25 for it. I said,
are you kidding me?
Girl, I was in the VIP section too. I was in a VIP section. Now, the only thing that sucked about this concert is I get there. Now, Adele only has but 2 upbeat songs in her catalog. Mm-hmm. Rolling in the Deep is playing. I'm up out of my seat because everybody's sitting down for the most part, but I'm up getting my life together. And this guy taps me hard on my shoulder and says, hey, can you sit down? I looked at him and said, no, we're at a concert. Like, what? And then he taps me again. And he's like, he points to his pregnant wife. Now, let me tell you, I turned around and I said, yo, I'm sorry. After this song, I'll sit down. But she only got 2 upbeat songs. I'm going to stand for those 2 upbeat songs. It's Rolling in the Deep. I'm sorry. Sorry, lady. It is what it is. So when she hit another ballad, I sat down. But I truly don't understand why people go to concerts and not stand up.
Yeah, I don't understand people who are like, we're not going to be lively at a concert. That doesn't make any sense to me either.
I don't get it at all. But yes, I've seen her in concert. She was amazing. That was the concert she she started talking about she said koalas had chlamydia or something. She goes on this tangent about koalas having chlamydia, and I said, "Sis, what are you doing? What are we talking about?"
Yeah, she seems
But it was
very
funny,
chatty when you see her live. That's cool though.
very chatty. Yeah, no, but it was one of the best concerts I've been to. She's great.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, since her new album is going to come out, maybe we should do an episode where we talk about the album. And if you want to come
I,
back because you're a huge Adele stan, I was literally gonna send out a tweet being like, "Are there any Adele stans?" But apparently you are. So,
I love me some Adele.
okay, so we can have you back for the
Boom.
Adele 30 review. Okay, well, we have finally come to the last topic, and it is the reason, really, why we decided to come back right now. And Miss Janet Jackson. There
Yes.
was a TV documentary airing this Friday at the time of recording called Malfunction: The Dressing Down of Janet Jackson, airing Friday, November 19th on Hulu and FX. And it is it's in the same TV, it's part of the same TV series that did Framing Britney Spears. And that was obviously very successful. So now they're moving on and they're doing a Janet one this year. And it's going to center on Janet's Super Bowl performance that she did with Justin Timberlake and the wardrobe malfunction and the fallout from that. And what's interesting here is this is directed and produced by a woman named Jodie Gomes, who is an African American woman. But what I found particularly interesting is she previously worked with the Jacksons on a reality TV series called Jackson's A Family Dynasty, which I watched. It came out after Michael had died, and it followed the brothers after. And I thought that was really good. So now I'm like, okay, this woman is familiar with the family, and it has made me relax a little bit. But what what are your thoughts on this upcoming TV documentary? Are you excited? What are you looking forward to? What are you hoping that they cover? Because we're talking to a premier Janet stan right now. So
I was nervous
yeah, me too.
because I'm gonna be really, really honest right now. I thought white people were behind this,
Mm,
and I didn't think they were gonna cover the racial elements of what happened
mm,
behind the Super Bowl. So I was nervous, but then I saw a black woman was directing it, was behind it. I said, okay, and she said she was going to talk about race. I said, okay,
yeah.
um, but I'm really excited when the Janet doc, like Janet's actual doc, through Lifetime and A&E, when that trailer dropped, people were talking about the Super Bowl, but in the back of my head, I was like, there needs to be a documentary specifically on the Super Bowl
Right.
because it was just that big, and I don't think people realize how big it was.
Yeah.
Same thing for Britney Spears. Like we didn't realize everything until we watched the doc, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really really excited that we might get a full 2 hours, even if it's just an hour, hour and a half.
Yeah,
But
I'm trying to remember how
possibly
long that Framing Britney Spears was. I think it was maybe like an hour, hour and a
or
half.
some
I don't
change.
think it was
Yeah,
two. Yeah.
yeah. It wasn't too. I think it was an hour and a half, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Um, but for somebody to really break down what happened, um, I think is great because
Mm-hmm.
people still to this day, it really irks my soul when I see people talk about the Super Bowl and they're like, "Oh, she did it on purpose because she
Mm-hmm.
had a nipple ring,"
Mm-hmm.
or "Oh, she did it on purpose," and they exclude Justin Timberlake, or they're just like, "It really wasn't that big," she
Right.
still had a career. Like, no, she was banned. Like, as a Janet fan, it's particularly hard because I remember what it was like when 2004, like March of 2004, when she dropped Demita Joe,
Mm.
to see Janet Jackson not on MTV was crazy,
Right.
was absolutely insane. To see her just become a BET artist, like imagine Michael Jackson just becoming a BET artist.
Oh man.
Like it's equivalent, right? Or
Yeah.
Prince or
Yeah.
somebody or
Yeah.
Whitney Houston.
Yeah.
It's like they don't even belong. Like, yes, they belong on BET, but they're not BET artists,
Like these are major pop
These
acts.
are major pop acts. And BET, especially 106 in Park, because that's where
Yeah.
we
That
saw
was.
her,
Yeah.
um, they were really R&B hip hop.
Right.
There was really no space for Black pop acts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's where TRL came in.
Right.
Um, so to see her regulated to that and then not hear her on the radio
mm-hmm.
was so bizarre. Like we went from All For You to
mm-hmm.
nothing.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm excited for the possibility that all these people get to really see why fans go so hard for Janet
mm-hmm.
and why we hate Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, I think I think in the Janet narrative, people aren't aware of how after this, I really feel like, yeah, because I'm trying to think back to my memories of the mid 2000s. And I think after all of that, in 2006, he came out with Future Sex Love Sounds. And that was a huge album for Justin Timberlake, and he was everywhere. And Janet was not everywhere. So I don't think people, if you weren't around during that time, you maybe don't remember that, and you don't really know the background and context of why that was. And also like the Les Moonves aspect to the story too, how she was like blackballed from so many major corporations. So yeah, I think a lot of people are going to learn a lot about what really happened and the dynamics at play. And I'm hoping to learn a lot too. Like I want to hear from different people as well. The only thing that I feel like maybe for me that I'm like kind of sad about is that Janet herself didn't get to, I'm assuming, didn't really get to participate in this because she's in the cold UK where the Spice Girls are. I'm just kidding. But what is nice though is that Janet is going to be coming out with her own documentary in January, and in her trailer she's like, "This is my story on my own terms," or like something like that. So
the voice?
Yeah, gotta do the voice. So at least that's coming. So I'm happy. Like I think this is actually a really great setup for that documentary.
Yes, I absolutely agree. It's a great setup. I think she might. It seems like she's going to talk about the Super Bowl.
If she doesn't address the Super Bowl at Janet, listen, I need you to get off the couch and go back into the editing room and add some things, because you cannot do your own documentary and not address that.
Exactly. So I think she's going to talk about it. I'm sure not at length as the Hulu documentary, but I'm sure she'll talk about it. We'll hear about from her at that point. But I hope the documentary covers the politics around, like the actual government politics that happened around the Super Bowl, the Bush administration, how they used the Super Bowl to, push their. It was a re-election year, so their campaign, how the Super Bowl was a catalyst for what was it called? It was like this conservative movement that ended up happening. They ended up being very homophobic.
Wow.
The morals. It was like a morals movement, back to morals. So the Super Bowl was the biggest catalyst for that. So I hope they cover like all of that stuff. I could really go into detail about everything that happened that time, but I hope they cover all of that. Lena Horne. I hope they talk about Lena Horne and the way she treated Janet afterwards.
Oh shit.
Yeah, because Janet was supposed to play Lena Horne.
Right.
In the biopic, and then Lena Horne was like, "Nope, I don't want you playing. I don't want you playing her or me."
It was tough to be a legend in the 2000s, and especially a Jackson, because people were abandoning that family left and right. You know what I do hope, though, when Janet starts like becoming, especially when that documentary comes out, I hope she doesn't sit down with Oprah.
I think her connections with Oprah is gone.
Janet, don't do it.
Listen,
Janet,
she
don't.
She didn't say anything about leaving Neverland after Oprah did those shenanigans, and she's gave away Oprah's hoop earrings.
Yeah, from the Legends Ball. I love that. That was a good move, Janet. Very subtle.
Yes. So I don't think the Jackson family is rocking with Oprah like that.
Yeah.
At all. She better not sit down with Oprah. I'd be so upset.
Janet, people here, I don't know if like you're aware in the UK, but Janet, people here in America will be very upset with you. Listen. Your fans specifically will be very upset with you if you.
I'd rather her sit with Tyra.
Tyler in the ballroom of Dancing with the Stars on Janet night.
Yeah, there's so many other people that could interview Janet, but I doubt she's going to do an interview like that. I don't know. Janet, being a Janet stan now, it's like we get fed crumbs and we take those crumbs happily. Yeah. But she doesn't give us much. It's not a lot.
I mean, you did get that Instagram post over the weekend where she was just walking with the commoners in the UK.
Yes. And I was
couldn't see her, but
I was shook.
I saw her feet.
I was like, what was she wearing? I'm sure she was wearing a black hat or something like that, but
full black.
You don't know that Janet is walking down the street with you? Probably had a mask on too.
Yeah, that's true. That's why maybe like Janet is thriving in this COVID era because she could just like walk freely with the mask and you could see her eyes. Like if I wouldn't think that was Janet Jackson
But you know what? Preston, her makeup artist, was with her.
But see, you have to be a Janet stan to know. Like
that's true. People. I'd have been like, Preston, Janet? Like, I mean, that's just me though. Yes, as a stan.
There we go. Well, I mean, we teased this Janet conversation because the plan is next week after this documentary airs, Angie and I almost called you Janet. And I. No. Angie and I will be back to talk about our thoughts with this documentary, and then maybe we will be back again the following week to talk about Adele's 30th album, and then after that, who knows if we'll be back the rest of 2021. That is TBD. But yeah, so much diva-ness coming your way. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We talked a lot about so many different things, and if you are watching the YouTube version of this, I mean, my goodness, you could have done all your chores and
exactly.
This was a long conversation. Yeah.
One more thing.
Oh, what?
Before we go, I really want. It's another diva. That I want to talk about really quick.
Yes.
Aaliyah.
Oh my God, that was another thing that happened this year.
Man, the re-release.
Speaking of re-releases, yes,
have been some of the best album rollouts I've seen in the past 5 years. I hate Barry, her uncle, dude for Black Round, but the album rollout have been A1. Like just amazing, phenomenal. The box sets, I got 2 of the box sets, the self-titled and One in a Million.
Mm-hmm.
All the gear, the sweatpants and all the merch, just been phenomenal. Shout out to Black Rounds, unfortunately. But yeah, all their stuff has been amazing.
I mean, that was so many things happened while we've been away. So that was just another one of the many things that occurred in the Divaverse. Are you happy that her albums are now on streaming?
You know what's funny? I didn't know.
Just like, it doesn't even matter because I own the CDs already.
Literally. Like, I didn't know they weren't on streaming platforms until 2018.
Oh.
I was teaching a class and I told one of my kids, I was playing Aaliyah. They asked who it was. I said, oh my gosh, you guys need to know Aaliyah. Get out your phones right now. Go on Spotify. Look up this song.
And they were like, therein lies the problem. She's not
they said
there.
that, she's not there. I said, okay, well, it's on YouTube. I know that for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have all the albums on CD already. So they're just on my phone and I had all the stuff. So I was never lacking in Aaliyah. But I'm happy that the world gets to revisit Aaliyah again.
Right. Now she's like a lot more accessible, which is a good thing.
Yes.
It's a good thing about streaming.
Exactly.
Accessibility.
Exactly.
There we go.
But yeah, I'm happy that her self-titled album is about to hit vinyl again.
Oh, another purchase.
Yes. Now, normally I wouldn't support Black Round because they did JoJo wrong. Tony Braxton's Libra album, just all bad vibes over there, except Aaliyah fans, we've been waiting. So it is what it is.
It's like, I'm going to have to take the L on that. I am.
It is what it is.
It's ready. Well, Angie, before we go, can you give the people your socials one last time until next week?
YouTube, Sleepy Nerd Productions, Twitter, Poetry Soul 3.
Perfect. And if you want to follow the podcast, we're at Diva Dailies Pod on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to email us, divadailiespod@gmail.com. And if you want to follow me, I'm at INN_MHO on Twitter and Instagram. And then in my humble opinion on YouTube. That's pretty much it. We hit all the diva topics. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. You're informed in the DCU, all of the happenings there. And as always, remember, divas. Boom. We're done.